Play for the win on the road. A tie at home. What?
Yeah.
This is
That's one that I don't understand.
Don't bunt to break up a no-hitter. Follow the umpire's code. Take a strike when behind. Take a strike when behind. If you're down by a few runs heading into the 7th or 8th, the worst thing to do would be to simply swing at the first pitch you see. This rule is more practical than anything. Clearly, they're in control of the game, so the first pitch is probably not going to be one the batter will want to hit anyway. Baseball's a dumb sport. Like what other sport has like unwritten rules and there's like 25 of them? Don't rub the mark after a hit by pitch. If a pitcher hits a batter, then either it's revenge for an earlier action and should be qualified, or it was a pitch that got away from him. Either way, as a batter, you don't rub the spot. You can't show weakness, as it just makes the pitcher that much tougher now that he's seen that he can affect the other team. Ah!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that dog scared me. I had my feet in the dog door, and he came through, and it scared me. Nice. Let's see. Pitchers pulled from game must stay in dugout. Sorry, Cruz. Don't show up. Wait, these are dumb. These are all dumb.
So and it's funny because every sport has these quote unquote unwritten rules. Baseball, there just seems to be a lot more of them, and they all seem. I mean, they're odd. They're odd rules that people follow, right? So, anyway, so the kid who hit the grand slam home run later apologized for it because grand slam home run.
Because baseball rules are weird?
Yep.
SJ says, I know that COVID has caused every day to feel the same, but today isn't Thursday, is it? No, SJ, it is not Thursday.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. You've missed a lot of things today, SJ.
Did you go to work yesterday? Did you turn in your schoolwork yesterday? Today is, in fact, Wednesday. However, I will be gone tomorrow because I'm going to be out camping with my family. So we're going to record today because I won't be here tomorrow. And as much as I know Devon and Mike would love to do the show without me.
I mean, we were kind of hoping, but
we could. Just saying.
Fun fact, I've been on every episode.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true. You missed one.
I did not.
You did?
Nope.
Mike, JD, and myself recorded one the first year.
Yep. When?
It was during, I think it was listening? Like in the December or November time. I think you were gone somewhere.
You were gone.
I was in Hawaii. No. Yep.
Yeah, you.
But no, because JD wasn't there at the time.
In the first year?
When I was in Hawaii.
You missed one.
I know you've missed at least one. So, fun fact, your faults.
I don't think so.
Go on back. Listen to all of them. Go on back. It's fine.
Spoiler alert. You diverted.
Hey, how's it going, Michael?
Hey, Michael. How's Australia?
I've been here, guys.
He's talking about Michael in Australia.
Don't ever do that again.
That's what they all come to hear, Stephen.
No.
Come on. Let's hear it.
I know better.
Let's hear it, Mike. Let's hear your
I know
accent.
better. I know better.
I know Devon can do it. Devon, like, practically, it's your second home, Australia.
Just because I have a lot of family that lives in Australia.
Do you have any family that lives in Australia?
Yeah. That's where my grandmother's from.
Whatever.
All of her sisters live there.
All you do is lie.
Okay, sure. Whatever.
Devon and Monica took a trip down to Sydney, Australia. They came back, and 10 months later, they named their daughter Sydney. So, I mean, you make the connection.
Technically not true.
What's so technical that that's not true?
No, because we found out in Australia that we were having a baby. So she was already over 2 months along when we found out in Australia.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So your timeline doesn't fit, Stephen. Okay.
Sorry.
Who was that?
I was watching.
That was Stephen watching whatever video you posted.
Oh, that's the vid I posted. So that's the one we just talked about. by your good buddy John Boy, who is
a stranger
pretty
danger.
flippin' hilarious.
Yeah, Mike is a stranger. It's true.
Nasili, hey there. I hope I'm saying that right. Is that Nasili? Is that how you say that? Glad you caught us online. Katie, how's it going? Glad everyone could show up today on an early Wednesday recording of the show.
Just change our day to Wednesday. Everybody's here now.
Change it to Wednesday?
I can't do that.
Well, it's been a good time, Mike.
Yep.
It's been a good run.
We've now determined that.
Oh, okay.
Like, find out.
It's not gonna hurt my feelings if you guys are like, hey, Mike, would rather do a 2-man show. It's gonna be okay.
I mean, I think it does.
It's not gonna hurt my feelings. There's only $500 worth of equipment that
That's it? Only 500? Come on, where you been? You have not put enough into this, Mike.
I could do a lot with 500. I mean, there's a lot of microphones I could upgrade. So
why do you need more than one microphone?
Surround sound.
So eventually
I don't think that's what it means. I don't think that's what surround sound means.
It's Dolby Atmos. They can hear me from everywhere.
Speaking of, I will not go to the movie theater, to the drive-in, unless it's an Atmos drive-in.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Well, you're going to have to get that installed in your vehicle. So
I did find out some
Have you
things
been?
that I can do.
I can see it from my house.
Devon? Like you can watch the movies from your house, or you can see the drive-in from your house.
I can watch the movie from my house because the screen takes up half of their building. They have have you driven by there where they have those 3 huge shipping containers just sitting there?
So Nicole had a thought. She thinks it's to block the sun.
It could be, but I mean,
think that's what it's for.
It looks super dangerous.
Right? It does.
Every time I drive by, I'm like, all it's gonna take is a good gust of wind, and those are gonna be on the road.
Not even a good gust of wind.
Because it's just sitting on wood on one end. It's just sitting on railroad ties.
Some wood is stronger than others, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
SJ says my audio is lower than everyone else's. Is everyone else in chat getting that? Am I lower, coming in lower? Is my voice just way deeper than Mike and Devon's? Nasili says yes. Devon, is there a way that you can adjust it, or
not for you, because it's the same audio levels for you and Mike coming through.
If I do this, does that?
That's definitely louder.
Should I lower it a little bit? Is that better right there?
No, don't ask.
That's not better.
Ask them. It was louder for me, but I'm sure it should be louder for them.
Well, I mean, it's coming in through your side. So Katie says up or need to scream more. I don't know if I should scream. I will not be doing any screaming. I'll try not to. Play more horror games. Man, there's so many games that everyone wants me to play, and there's not enough time. But I think if that audio level is fine, I think we'll jump into this, and we'll go ahead and we'll get going here. Are you guys ready to go? Oh, crap. I need to get my timestamp thing so I can write these things down. So I am not ready. All right. So we're going to start here. I'm going to write this timestamp down. I'm going to push a button, and then we're going to start going. You guys ready?
Make sure it doesn't
loop.
Make sure it doesn't loop.
I know.
It's going to loop.
Well, that was really
that was not the sound.
Sorry, but the answer is a whopping yes.
You are listening to the Freelancer Codex, a podcast brought to you by the Shut Up and Respawn Network.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 136 of the Freelancer Codex podcast, the longest running podcast that we've been doing since we stopped really focusing on Anthem because that game has been put on hiatus. So I think eventually someday we'll go back to that. But honestly, though, guys, I was thinking today, I was like, it's kind of nice just to be able to talk about whatever we want instead of staying focused on Anthem all the time. So I'm kind of excited, and maybe we never go back. Maybe we announce that we never talk about Anthem again. We probably wouldn't do that. When new news
I mean, we're still talking about Anthem. It probably just won't be the sole focus, even when 2.0 comes out. I mean, we'll probably talk about it more because there'll be more news. But
you'd think.
I mean, maybe.
You'd think.
Considering it probably won't be out till like 2022, there's a lot of time until we get there. So
it got delayed again. It's probably 2023.
It's very possible. Everything's getting delayed, and we'll talk
be.
about that more in the news. But Devon, Mike, thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys being with me. The person who I have been on every single episode of the show.
I'm going to fact check. Accurate. Facebook fact check says false.
Well,
You're gonna trust Facebook? Is that what we're doing?
I don't trust anybody, but
It's true. That's a good way to live, Devin. I agree. You should not trust anyone.
always carry a knife
So
in your pocket. No.
everyone, thanks for hanging out with us on chat. Katie, SJ, Nasili, Michael, thanks for hanging out with us today. A couple of things before we dive into what we have been up to and some rants that I really want to go on. We want to thank every one of our patrons that has been supporting us on Patreon. We'd like to thank Julius, Nathan B, Quiet Devin, Michael R, Trent B, Man and Still. This is serious. Stop it. You're gonna make me stop it. Scout 69, Dragonheart 76, Jeffrey H, Gameplay Experience, and RZ. Thank you for your continued support. Your continued support keeps things like our website going. Please go to our website, freelancercodex.com. We have a lot of things going up there. There's going to be some new things that we're going to be coming out with. I just recently finished my first rough draft on our documentary that's going to be releasing. It's about 80 minutes long. It's going to be a really cool documentary. I hope everyone gets a chance to check it out. That should be coming out probably, if not at the end of this month, it'll be sometime in the beginning of next month. There's a lot to do on those things. Like you see No Clip when they put out all their documentaries on the things that they put out. I didn't realize how much work goes into those. There's a lot of work that goes into those. There's a lot of edits. There's like, how do I piece this all together and make it into a cool story that you can follow? So I've been learning a lot doing that. So I'm excited for everyone to finally get to hear it sometime in the future. So everyone, that was also supposed to mention, because I'm really bad at promoting our show. A couple of things that you can do if you want to support us. If you cannot chip in $1 for our Patreon and get access to our pre-show content, that's fine. Please go ahead and go over to iTunes and rate the show. But only if you're going to give it 5 stars.
What?
We are not going to. I mean, that's what you got to do. Unfortunately, that's the best way for podcasts to get shown, is by ranking them very high and by doing that.
Just give it an honest rank, whatever you feel. All right.
Give us honest feedback in the comments, but whatever it is, even if it's bad, just make it 5 stars anyway. Just be like, this is a 5-star comment so that you can see my feedback. The way that their algorithm was weird. It's not like the amount of reviews that you get. It's like how many you get in a certain amount of time. So learning about all this stuff is like, man, this is really tough to get around all this stuff. So if you don't want to kick in $1 to get access to our pre-show content, go ahead and do that. We would really, really appreciate it. We need to offset the last person that posted on there, gave us a 1-star review, because Devin said that he doesn't like Jason Schreier very much. And that's what he based the review on and gave us a 1-star. So go offset that review.
Good job, Devin.
Hey,
Devin
being honest hurts.
like-
People are sensitive about news, gaming journalism.
You're sensitive.
I am. It's true. My wife tells me I am, but
SJ says I'll do 5 stars as soon as Mike and Devin do a show solo.
Woo!
I can just bounce out here right now. We can make that done. We can make that happen.
We can
All
make
right,
that done. I like it.
Mike, it's really hard for me to talk and stuff sometimes. So you're just gonna have to
Language
bear
is
with me here.
difficult for people. Language is difficult.
Especially when I don't talk to many people all day long, and this is the first time I talk to people. What was I gonna say? You can also leave us feedback at freelancercodex@gmail.com. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything you want, right into the show. We'll be happy to discuss it on the show. All right. So with that, I think I want to kick it over to what we have been doing this week. And Devin, I think we'll start with you.
All right. Well, what I've been doing? I've been working.
Take me into your day to day. What did you have for breakfast 2
What
days ago?
2 days ago. What was 2 days ago? Was that Sunday? Or no? Today's Wednesday.
Would have been
Would have
Monday.
been
Monday.
Monday.
What did I had? I had a leftover green chili enchilada for breakfast.
How long is this bit
Breakfast,
gonna
huh?
go? I didn't think you were gonna take the bit this long, but you're
Uh,
just you're
no.
gonna go for it.
So, maybe that's what I had. I don't know.
Nice.
No, I've just been playing, working through the Halo Master Chief Collection campaigns. Finished up ODST on Legendary, and started on Combat Evolved on Legendary. And
Wait, you did ODST before Combat Evolved?
yeah, I was just going down the list with because Halo CE and Halo 2 only have 2-player co-op. And so
Oh,
I
I
was
gotcha.
doing the ones with 4-player because I was playing with a couple of my other friends. And so we can all play, we started with the 4-player ones.
So what's the desire there? What are you going for when you play on Legendary? Is it the achievements? Is it the challenge? Is it the because Because you've got story down, so I'm assuming it's not story. So why
I
legendary?
I just like it because it's fun. It's funner for me, anyways. I mean, that's how I normally play through them. It's not really that difficult, but I don't know. It's
Hey,
I
Old
mean
Man
it's
Fear's in the chat. Tim, what's going on? Glad to have you
hey
here with us. Tim says never give Devon that much time on the mic.
yeah.
So wait a second. And because this is visual, so Tim said never give him that much time on the mic, spelling Mike Mike, like Mike, and not like microphone Mike. So you should never give Devon that much time on mic, which sounds a little bit different in context when you think about it, how it's read.
I don't understand why you had to
Devon,
make it weird, Steven.
Devon,
Steven,
no,
I
always
mean,
makes
that's like
it weird.
that's what he's like at the top of the show notes. He's like, Steven, remember, make the show weird. But
Do whatever you can to make it weird.
I didn't make it weird. Tim made it weird. I just had to point it out.
yeah, sure.
Tim, welcome in. We miss you, bud.
But no, I mean, we've been having fun with that, and I just enjoyed it a lot. We put a couple skulls on. It's pretty fun to do, and yeah, I started playing Battletoads earlier today because they put it out early, so it's pretty fun. My kids and I were playing it for like an hour.
But also, Devin, I have questions, like comments on your Halo thing. Like playing on Legendary with 4 people isn't that difficult.
No.
So it actually makes it more fun because if you were to play normal with 4 people, then it would just be like way
just
too
mopping
easy.
it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So with 4 people, it's actually like, okay, this isn't too bad. So my question for you was, after going through these, like, have you changed your rankings of which campaigns you prefer? Has it like changed any of those rankings around, or is it still like Halo 3 campaign is your favorite?
What? Now, Halo 3 was never my favorite, but
Which one's your
Steven's
favorite?
making up lies there.
I could
No,
have sworn it was 3.
no. For me, like Halo CE was my favorite since that's what really got me started. Halo 2 was alright. I didn't like playing as the Arbiter. I still don't like playing as the Arbiter. Which I mean, I don't mind if it was a whole separate game. I think that'd be really cool if they had an entire Halo game that was about the Arbiters or Sangheili or even the Covenant. I mean, that would, but as long as it's separate from the mainline Halos, which is the Master Chief, right? So
and specifically says that, hey, you're not playing as Chief in this game.
Yeah, because you can go into that just like going into a Halo Wars game or like Halo 3 ODST, even Halo Reach. Those, you kind of knew ahead of time. Well, Reach you didn't until they finally announced it. Finally, they dropped a bomb there and let you know, hey, you're doing Spartan 3s. You're not playing as the Chief. You're not actually following book canon, because Bungie's like, we're going to ignore that because Microsoft wrote that and we hate Microsoft right now. So, I mean, that's
What do
really
you mean Microsoft wrote that?
well, they are the ones who got that to be written, right? It had nothing to do with Bungie. So
The Fall of Reach had nothing to do
yeah,
with
the
Bungie?
first couple books had nothing to do with Bungie, and
Seriously?
so yeah,
I
Microsoft
had no
was
idea.
expanding on the IP because that was when like they had books for like the Crimson Skies. They had books for shoot, what was that game with the dinosaurs?
Turok?
No.
No, not Turok.
Dino
It would have
Crisis
been...
or something like that. I don't know. So like a bunch of their launch games, they had books. It was kind of like their push to expand their IP since it was their first console, and they were trying to make their IPs larger. And so they had books written, and they didn't really have much. Bungie didn't have much input, and so honestly, like that, Halo after Halo 3, they did Reach, and then Halo 3 ODST. And during Halo 3, they had already were like, we're leaving Microsoft, and we have to make 3 more games, and so we're going to do Halo Reach, but we're going to do a whole new story. So, kind of screw you, Microsoft, and what you put out there. But
Yeah, I mean, during development of Halo 3, they already had plans to make Destiny. There's
Yep.
still that old teaser of the Traveler in that in Halo 3, which was pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
So has it changed then? Your favorite?
no, I mean, I've had like we just barely finished ODST, so I definitely had more fun playing through that. I actually kind of want to go back through and find more of the secrets in there because there's lots of audio files that you can collect as you're going through. It's also funny, the things that you remember when you're playing it. Like I remember I really didn't like the weapons and how you felt a whole lot weaker. Obviously, you're not Spartans, but weapons I don't think should feel weaker when they're the same weapons.
Same weapons.
But but we had that discussion on the Discord. But No, it was a lot of fun playing through it. I also remember being frustrated. It's like, why do these ODSTs have night vision all the time, and I don't have that as a Spartan when I'm way better as a Spartan? Just different things. I do like, in the new update they're coming out with the Master Chief Collection, they're putting Halo 3 ODST weapons into Halo 3, so you can have those weapons in there, and you can also include those in everything else. So yeah, they're doing lots of cool things.
Michael says in chat, doesn't Halo have Easter eggs which took people years to find? There was one, I believe it was in Halo 3 that they had to wait for like widescreen support in order to find like a hidden name that someone put on the side of a Halo, if I'm remembering that correctly. There was something recently where they found like an Easter egg like that. But yeah, there are things that were in there for a long time. Like the Halo 3 thing, where they had the poster of the Traveler. Like no one knew what that was until like Destiny stuff started coming out. So,
and then like, oh crap, that's what it is.
It was
Devin, were you ever the first one to find an Easter egg?
I don't know. I mean, I did find one for GoldenEye.
Yeah.
On the Nintendo 64.
Confirmed?
Actually, well, I sent it into Rare. They didn't send anything back, but it was in the game. So you could put in. I mean, it's confirmed where they have button combos to open up different cheats that aren't on the cheat menu. And I made it so like you have paintball mode in GoldenEye, but I made it so where the paintball shows up in rectangles and stripes, not like the regular, paintball explosions, splatters. And it was really crazy. And I was like, what the heck is wrong with this? Like I was just screwing around in the cheat menu, just moving around, pushing buttons. I didn't even know at the time that was a thing. And I just turned on a couple cheats, and then when I was playing, I was like, what is wrong with these paintballs? So I took a picture of the TV with the Polaroid camera, and I mailed it to him, but never got anything in return. But
so you didn't think your system was just tweaking?
No,
Like,
but I mean, and I just forgot all about that until, like 10 years later when they published a whole bunch of them where you can put in the combinations to unlock extra cheats that aren't on the cheat menu. So
nice.
Yeah. And hopefully there's more in Halo Infinite when they actually finish the game, that there's a lot of hidden stuff in there. So yes, Devin is an OG Polaroid hipster, that's for sure. Right, we'll talk more about Battletoads later on when we talk about the news. Mike, what have you been up to?
So I have been playing Horizon Zero Dawn. Dun dun dun.
You've been playing a video game?
Yeah, right. Just this one.
Pixar didn't happen.
I did download Tetris the other day.
On your phone?
I did actually. But it was like this Tetris version was kind of like HQ
it's like the
trivia.
HQ thing.
Yeah, where it's like live or whatever. So I'm like, but I didn't play live. I just played the solo mode because Tetris. I mean, it's simple. I was playing while my youngest daughter was on one of her school calls, and so I was just kind of helping her out. So I was just playing that while she was doing
your youngest daughter.
I was helping her out by playing Tetris.
My youngest daughter is pre-K. Yeah.
So, the sentence you just said.
Your youngest daughter. Do you have more than one daughter that we don't know about?
That in your pre-K youngest daughter had to be on a Zoom meeting, which implies that she knows how to use Zoom, which implies that she knows how to like use email and log into these things. And that's just like, okay, your 4-year-old is like, oh, I've got my own email account, Dad. I'll handle it.
So obviously she didn't log in. I logged in for her. I have all her credentials.
Did she have to sign in initial waivers?
No, I did.
Did she sign an EULA?
The user agreement.
Those
No, but
so
yeah,
dumb.
she was on with her teacher, and she was just having a ball, and it was awesome to see her interact in a super cool way, and it was super cute. So anyway, so I've been playing Horizon, and it's, after you go through the initial tutorial and you get your wooden earpiece and your wooden javelin and your wooden gun and everything starts
a wooden javelin. What?
Right? Everything starts out basic, right? So you go through and you learn all these things. You start collecting all these audio files and you start collecting all these collectibles, and that you learn the buttons and you go through, and then the story progresses and you finally get to use a bow and you're like, oh, that's it. Right? So I've actually been enjoying it so far. I am not very far into the story. I am doing a lot of hunting and doing a lot of
10 minutes in.
No, I'm more than 10 minutes in.
I haven't played very much, you guys. But
I'm more than 10 minutes in. I'm probably 3 hours in.
I'm 13 minutes in. All right.
I've played for 3 hours. I'm not 3 hours deep into the campaign. Trying to learn the crafting system and trying to learn the modification system, how to min max, how to find out what is better, what do all these things mean. And it's kind of tough because it's almost, we talked about it a lot when we were talking about Anthem, too many things, almost too many numbers to keep track of. So you don't really know which way to go or how to do or what to do it. But it's fine. I did find one little bug. One of my characters was all, you guys remember Max Headroom from, yeah. So one of the characters who was giving me a quest, his body was doing that where it was like all geeking out. It was kind of funny. It pulls you out of the story a little bit. Because I don't think it's supposed to be there. Here? But it's fun. The character models are cool. The creatures are neat. I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to keep going with it. It's going to be fun. I just got.
Does it make you want to get a PS5 to play the next one? That's what I want to know.
No.
Okay.
No. Thought never crossed my mind. Okay. Didn't know the next one was going to be on PS5.
Not surprised. What? There's a next one? We did a show and there's a next one?
I just started this one. How can there be a next one? You're on to the next thing. No, I got to finish this one first. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe so far the main protagonist does not like draw me to care about her story yet. So we'll see if that changes, and maybe it'll want me to get a PS5, but I'm gonna go ahead and say doubt it.
So SJ says the best weapons from the hunting ground trial. So there's a pro tip for you, Mike. If you want to get the best weapon, the best bow and arrow, you got to go to the hunting ground trial. So
see, and I didn't even know you could get different bows. I thought you were stuck with the same one. So that's awesome. I'm gonna take it. I'm not that far in, Devon. Chill out. Have you played it at all? No.
Only one bow, huh? Is this your first video game? No.
Anyway.
Michael
says you need some aloe vera because you just got burned. No.
What did Michael say?
Michael says that will change as you go through the story. You find out what happened. So referring to you not being attached to Aloy. So
yeah, I'm excited to figure it out. So granted, the game's 3 years old, but we didn't play it back then. So Aloy, it's kind of a play on like alloy, and an alloy is like, two metals being fused together to form a stronger metal. So guessing there's going to be something like that involved in the story. All right. Yeah.
So a couple of things
you pulled that out of that one name. You didn't do any type of Reddit or Google or Discord to figure that out.
No, like
you were like, we work with.
That's all Steven's idea.
All right. That's got to be alloy, and alloys are of course two metals that are fused together to make something stronger. Obviously,
he's pretty big into forging and
maybe you should jump
get his own swords and weapons.
Devon and I will finish this off.
Like we work in metallurgy. Like we took tests based on metallurgy and learning about different metals how, RT rays will affect them. So you can here take a random audio cue.
Yes, a bathroom.
So there you go, Mike. That's a bathroom for you. All right, so I've also been playing through Horizon. I've been enjoying it. I'm about 17 hours through it.
I'm done. Okay, that's cool.
Are you not done?
I'm drinking the soda.
Yeah, so you're done. All right, so I've been playing through it also. I've been enjoying it.
Did you know that Alloy is a play on her name? Did you know that? I did.
He's not going to give that up anytime soon.
I got something in my eye.
It's probably your finger. It's probably an alloy. It's probably an alloy, and it's two metals.
Okay. Wrong answer.
Yeah, you can let someone up here. I'm sure you will.
Keep going.
So I don't know what I was talking about. We'll let Mike go ahead and finish that up. So yeah, so I'm also playing through the game. I'm having a good time. I'm trying to finish it up. I don't think I will before the next Control DLC comes out, and that's next week on the 27th. So I don't think I'll have time to finish it up because Horizon Zero Dawn is pretty long. So I haven't decided if I want to hold off on the Control DLC or if I should just finish the DLC, because the DLC is only going to be like 5 or 6 hours. That's pretty much how long the other DLC was.
If you'd stop picking up sticks, you can get through this game faster.
the problem is, and I've been talking with Kags a lot because he's like played the game like 4 times through. Like, in order to get all the upgrades, you really have to like hunt and gather like insane. Like, that's so far for me, that's the worst part of the game. Picking up the sticks, hunting all the animals in that first area, because it's like, I need to upgrade this stuff. I don't want to like slowly do it because eventually you're going to get to a point where you're like, oh man, I wish I had more arrows. So I'm like, I should do it now, and then if I get it done in the beginning of the game, I don't have to worry about it later.
So then you're going to
So
be
every time
OP for the majority of the game.
and I hope so. I would rather be OP for the majority of the game and just get through it. Also, I could probably just like lower the difficulty if all I wanted to do was get through the story, right? I could just put it on story mode and I could just go through it that way. I do enjoy the combat. I think the combat's pretty fun because, like Mike said, the creatures are really cool. I really like the robot dinosaur creature design. That's super cool. Really enjoying that. I think that's like I said last time, it's like one of the things that like it's scratching an Anthem itch for me, because I think the character design is like, if you took some of these and put them like an Anthem with a couple of tweaks, I'd be like, okay, this could probably go here. This is like some weird creature that could have been created by the Anthem of creation, right? So I'm really enjoying it, but I don't know what I'm going to do when Control comes out, because that comes out next week. So, and I really want to like I made a video for the last Control, like unlocking like that hidden cosmetic in that one. So I want to do that again, but I'm like, man, is that the only reason I want to jump on it early, or should I finish Horizon Zero Dawn first? So, SJ says, which robot dino is your favorite and least favorite to fight against? So far, my favorite, I really like the Sawtooths. I think they're really cool. I enjoy fighting against them. They're pretty interesting. I do not like fighting against the they're the little one. They're the little dog ones that have the drill bits on their head. Just because I don't like that they can just like stop and shoot at you. I don't think that's very interesting. So yeah, the Sawtooths are super cool, but also I haven't come across a lot of them because for that 17 hours, I just barely got out of the starting area. So I've been doing all the side quests, trying to pick up all this stuff. No, I didn't get lost. It's like really like the hunting, gathering, and doing all the side quests takes up a lot of time because there's a lot of stuff in there. It's a very big open world. And at some point you're just like, all right, maybe I should just go do the side quest and come back and do this stuff later, just because there is so much to do there. Like once you get that map open and you see how many things are on there, you're just like, maybe we don't need all this open world stuff. Maybe our games don't need to be 60 hours long. Like, and this is something that we've talked about a bunch. Like, why don't just tell your story? Like, one of the things that I'll always love about Halo is that those games are 10 hours long. There's 10 levels, about an hour long each.
Not anymore.
Here's your story. And because, like, who knows how long Halo Infinite's going to be? I can only imagine that it's either going to get longer or shorter with the delay. But, like, sometimes, like, and that's also one of the things that I really like about Control. It's a short story. Like, there are side objectives that you can do, but there's not like, hey, go over here and collect all the notebooks. I mean, there's those collections you can do, but that doesn't add to like your inventory for Jesse Faden, right? It's something that you can just like, hey, I can go through the story. If I want to go to the side, I can do that. And
well, some of that stuff you have to collect to upgrade your weapons and everything else, your abilities.
Yeah, but for the most part, like, you don't really need those abilities in order to progress through the game. I know a lot of people complain that you do, but I did not min-max my mods in Control in order to beat the game. I don't know if you did, Devon.
No, I always was just like, oh, I can make a new one. Let me see if I can level this up. Okay.
Yeah, in that game, it's super optional to like even interact with the mod system. Like, the mod system seems like it was tacked on as an afterthought. Like, hey, we're pretty far in development. We can add this in just, maybe to use it more in the future. Like, there are some cool mods, but it's definitely not something that you have to have in order to beat that game. Like in Horizon Zero Dawn, I think you definitely need to upgrade from 10 arrows to like 50 arrows in order to, solve some of those combat encounters, which is fine. I mean, it's two different approaches. I really like both games. I'm like struggling to figure out like which game I like more. No, I'm not. I like Control more, but Zero Dawn. But that's not to say that I don't like Horizon. I am really enjoying my time with Horizon, and I'm excited to like continue the story because I spent that first amount of time, and I'm like, I'm just barely in the beginning of the story. I'm just like we still think that, it's 5 years past and, we're not going to go fight Thanos. If you're thinking about it in a business perspective. So, anyway, so that's what I've been playing. I was going to rant about a couple things, but I think I talked a lot. So I don't think I really need to rant about the stuff that I was going to rant about. I will say this. If you have kids in baseball and you have a coach that's a jerk that is not allowing your kids to have fun in baseball, fire that coach and just move your kid out, right? Adults that need
we
to
get
yell
it. You
10-year-olds,
don't like Mike. It's fine. You don't. I mean, no.
So this
And you know
story
what?
actually comes from my kiddo who is playing baseball right now.
Yeah.
And it, thankfully it wasn't his team. It was the team that we were playing, and they didn't have a coach. They had a yeller in the dugout who just yelled at the kids, reminded them of what they were doing wrong, told them that everything they did was terrible. At one point, took his hat off, threw it on the ground, and stomped on it. Right. So this is an adult in front of, and the team that they're on is a U9 team. So
They're
a bunch of
10-year-old
9 and
kids.
8-year-olds. Right. And
His
he's
hopes
just,
and dreams are being crushed by his
well,
team.
you know what? His hopes and dreams are being crushed. The kids are like, I just want to be with my friends and throw a baseball around, and and it's just frustrating because I mean, coaching is my profession. It's what I do, and I think I'm pretty good at it. And I would never do that to a kid because I know what it can do to them, and it's just ridiculous that happens, and no one says anything. Maybe that's the biggest thing, because I know that it happens, but nobody says anything about it and calls him on it. Because he totally
said
should
a
be
lot
called
from
on
the
it.
stands. I mean,
Well-
we said a lot from the stands.
Well, there should be a YouTube video about us talking to this guy and just giving this guy the business, right?
Oh,
Someone should
we
have.
want to be on TikTok.
Well, no, not that. But man, stuff like that shouldn't be allowed. And it's not just baseball; it's any youth sports, and it's just in life in general. Like that attitude, right? So be good to people. If your kiddo is in a situation like that, get him out, fire the coach, move him. It's just
SJ says, "What's that ninja quote about perfecting an art?" So maybe this coach was right. Maybe this coach is like, "We're here to win, and if we don't win, then what are we even trying here?" Yeah. So maybe he just really likes watching Ninja. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into the. You know what I would say to that coach? This is what I would say to that coach. That's what I would say. That's what Ash would say to the coach. All right, guys, let's dive into the news here.
All right. I gotta talk to you about something.
All right, news stuff going on here. Katie T says Half-Life. Is there Half-Life news? Is Half-Life 3 confirmed? I'm not sure. I haven't heard if there's any Half-Life news. I didn't have anything in the document anyway if there is any Half-Life news. But the first
I put it very at
thing
the bottom.
we have.
No.
You did put it at the bottom?
No.
All right, we'll find out if
I
there's
put other
Half-Life
things
news,
at the bottom of the document.
or if maybe Katie's trolling us, Half-Life 3 confirmed. Devon, Ghost of Tsushima gets online multiplayer later this year.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure you were excited about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. I only have one friend on PlayStation, so
you only have one friend. Oh,
that's right.
That's sad.
does that mean one
don't-
of us isn't your friend?
Neither one of you are my friends on PlayStation. So,
Or in life? I mean, just had to.
oh wait, no,
You were the-
I have three
you,
friends.
You walked
on
in and us
PlayStation.
when Steve and I were talking about an idea for a show, and we're like, I guess we got to include him now.
Whatever. You called me for my help. All right. I think
That's
if
great.
anybody texts more, it's not you. But no.
Weird
Ghost of
tangent.
Tsushima will get a new co-op
Hey, whoa,
multiplayer
hey.
mode later this year.
No.
One that expands
Steven
the lore of the
cannot
PlayStation
stand
4 action adventure set in
silence.
feudal Japan. Ghost of Tsushima Legends, as the mode is called, will be free download for all who have the game. Bonus. It's a separate mode that doesn't follow Jin or the companions from his journey, said Darren Bridges, a designer with Sucker Punch. But instead focuses on 4 warriors who have been built up as legends and stories told by the people of Tsushima. So this is actually pretty cool. I was not expecting this game for its first update to get multiplayer. That's not something I was even.
Yeah, man. It seems like a pretty big feature that they probably just didn't have enough time to get done before launch. So, I'm interested to see more about it. They have 2 to 4 players, and there's more players than I have. But
But I mean, you could probably find people online that are playing that you could just jump in
yeah,
with.
maybe. I don't know what kind of matchmaking they have.
Yeah, just jump in with people. Like that's not weird at all.
That's
Why
what
would that
most
be weird?
matchmaking
Jump in with
is.
people.
I'm just.
That's how you make new friends, Mike. You just have to be nice to people.
That's how you have more than one friend.
Yeah.
You yell at their 10-year-olds when they drop a ball. That's
What are you doing? Row faster!
We practice this. The double play ball.
No, you didn't. You
You're
didn't practice
10.
that.
The ball's bigger than your hand. Why can't you throw it on time?
Yeah, I know it's gonna be pretty good for a lot of people. It'll be interesting to see how it runs, on the system. So
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. All right, so congratulations to everyone that is playing Ghost. You're gonna get more chance to play Ghost, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, Devon, Microsoft
Yes.
Flight Simulator. What the freak is going on with Microsoft Flight Simulator? Because Microsoft Flight Simulator was not supposed to be something that everyone in the world was going to be so interested in.
yeah, no, I mean it's pretty awesome. It uses a lot of artificial intelligence, uses the power of the cloud. All these years in the
Because
making.
they're flying in the clouds.
Wait a
They
minute.
are-
Yeah, flight.
they are
simulator,
flying
power
in
of
the clouds.
Is that hitting it a little bit on the nose?
Well, it uses the Azure
nose.
cloud, and with AI, makes the game look real nice. But even on, so I was playing last night because it went live 2 days ago, Monday, I think.
I think Monday, yeah.
Or Monday or Tuesday, one of the two. But I played it for over an hour, and I'm just flying around like I don't even know. I was just doing stupid things, and afterwards I was like, I should probably go through the tutorial because it'd probably be a lot easier if I went through the tutorial instead of just like, all right, what does this button do? I don't understand. Let me just crash into the ground.
Nice.
But no, it's cool because you can pick anywhere in the world. And so I was flying around our town, and then so next time, because I want to play it some more, but I want to go, like they did this cool thing where they show you all these places of beautiful beaches and everything else. The game looks amazing, but I was like, I want to see what North Korea looks like, right?
Nice.
Because they do the whole world, and you can just pick any plane you want and fly. You can start anywhere. You
yeah.
don't even have to start from an airport, anything. You can just fly. And they use the Google Maps or Bing Maps or whoever's maps they're getting the data from, and they're extrapolating that with AI.
Microsoft is using Google's Maps.
Could be. You never know. They might even be using Apple's maps. Hold on.
Well, probably not Apple's maps.
Probably not. But no, I mean it's a lot of fun. It's just something that you can sit back and do. You can put everything on easy. Or you can make it as hard as you want. I put everything on easy, and I could just play with the controller, sitting there just flying, and just having a good time. And you can choose from a lot of different planes, go to a lot of cool different places. And
So
it's
finish
just,
your North Korea story.
no, I mean I just want to fly over it, and
Did you?
No, I haven't yet. That's the next place I want to go. Like, go over
Oh.
to
Imagine
Korea
it's
and
all
fly.
going to just be blacked out.
Yeah, it's just all black. So...
Or you
Michael-
get shot down.
No,
Yeah,
but
Michael
one of the
says, did you get shot down?
no, one of the cool features though in this game is you can turn on the live weather, so they actually use current weather from radar stations and put it into the game. And
That's
so
cool.
when there is hurricanes or whatever else going on, you can go fly to that area and turn on the real-time weather, and it'll show you, and you can fly through it and check it out. And so I was like, that's pretty awesome. I mean, you can also change the weather to whatever you want in any time of the year. But so like when I was flying over our town and I checked the weather, hey, that's exactly what it is here. It was a lot of fun.
So what's the flight simulator draw? Why flight simulators? Just, I mean, is it
A lot of
hobby
people
for
like it.
actual pilots? Is it?
I mean, you can train because you can make it. I mean, people have actually downloaded. Some of people, online reviewers and stuff. They're like, this is the first game I've ever played where I downloaded a PDF for actual piece of equipment that's in the game because you can make it that complicated. Like you can actually learn how to fly that actual plane with all the correct sequences by doing all that stuff because you can put it on the hardest difficulty, which is like real life. You have to do everything correctly or you crash and burn. Or you can put on easy and push A to go faster.
Right. Push A to
So-
fly.
A
So
to
yeah,
fly.
just to kind of just take this like what why?
And people
'Cause I'm
just
thinking to
enjoy
myself-
doing this. You just
No, I
enjoy
understand, but I'm
flying.
thinking to
and-
myself, at what point do I somehow attach this to a drone and fly it all around the world with, or fly
So
like an
there-
unmanned plane and
So there are
what is the
hobbyists.
end game?
There are hobbyists that this is the game that they do. Just like there's like people that they set up their rig to do racing games. They get their
Right.
steering wheel, their pedals. They'll do that for this game, and they'll just fly.
Yeah.
Like a while ago, I forget what we were doing, but Devon and I were like talking, and I like found myself on YouTube about this group of people that Flight Simulator is the game that they play.
Yeah.
And they role play it.
They role
get
play
together in
100%.
groups. Yeah, they get together, they do their checkoffs, they do their flight checks and their system checks, and they take off one after another, and then they just fly somewhere. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
very
cool.
much like they're not like trying to do barrel rolls or like any kind of maneuvers. They fly in a straight line from airport to airport. They talk to each other. They go through the calls. They talk about wind speed and all that stuff. And that is what they do. And there was like hundreds of thousands of views on these
Yeah,
videos. So
these are-
people are doing it.
Is it
People are consuming it.
is it real time? So the flight from
Yeah.
Yes,
from
it
our
can
pla-
be.
It can be real time. So
Yeah.
you could take an 8-hour cross country flight.
And
in
like
a
some of the
little-
things, like you could start the flight and you set it to auto when you're going, and you're like, all right, I'll be back. And you come back later, and it's still just cruising.
Yeah, and it's just cruising. Yeah, I wonder if it's like mining Bitcoin in the background while you're doing that. But yeah, it is. But also, like Devin was saying, people learn how to fly on this. Like Tim says, the Air Force just went increase simulator time and decrease actual seat time to reduce training costs on their Jayhawk fighter trainer. So
Oh wow.
there are simulators like, and
Can
this
you
might
do
not
fighter?
be the
Can you
exact-
do like fighter planes?
I don't think they
and
have
stuff in
any fighter
this?
planes in this one. They have other
haven't seen
simulator
them.
games that focus
do that?
extensively on jets and
What
those
about
kind of things.
helicopters in this one?
I
No
haven't seen any
helicopters.
helicopters, just airplanes right now.
But also, like DLC is something that they could easily do in the
Yeah.
future.
Oh
That
yeah,
wouldn't
right.
be
By the F-16, like that would be.
and then
yeah,
shoot down all
that's-
the other people.
and
that
then
you
shoot
can-
down all the other. Well,
I
it
mean,
would
they
come
do
with
have the
weaponized,
controversy
maybe.
right now. Like if you buy the deluxe version, you get higher detailed models of like 32 airports, right? So I mean, they put
Right.
the time into making these more detailed models, and if you want to see
Mhm.
that, you can buy the deluxe version. If you don't care about that, they have the regular ones that they built up, with base stuff, and then also that the AI put together. And so you can go to those airports because there's some airports that they have in there that they did in the base game. But if you buy the deluxe version, and some people are complaining about that, they're like, "Oh, I have to pay to have a better graphics version or whatever." It's like it takes some time and money to make that. So, I mean, yeah, they got to make that money back. But it's also the same. Another controversy they had was so to fully install the game, you have to be in the game, right? And
To
so
Yeah, their
fully
launcher-
install the game, you have to be in the game.
yeah, so they give you a little
So
bit.
the problem is,
Yeah.
yeah. So first, Exonus 89 says everyone is either playing the new Microsoft Flight Sim or talking about playing it. That's true. I think it's been getting like crazy good scores across the boards, which is really surprising for a simulator. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. Everyone else, it's like very high score. So Mule, hey, how's it going?
What's
Thanks for
happening?
hanging out, Wade. Appreciate it. So the problem with Steam, when Steam has you install the launcher from Microsoft Simulator, bless you, Mike, that they have a 2-hour refund time, but it takes more than 2 hours for it to download because it's like 100. It's like a billion gigs.
It's
like
93
139
gigs.
It's 139
No.
gigs.
It's
When I
152
downloaded it yesterday or whenever it was 93 gigs that I had to download.
It's
Well, that was the patch.
152.4 gigs.
Yeah, you downloaded the day one patch, which was 93 gigs.
So then
Anyway,
I had it
takes
pre-installed,
over-
I guess.
Yeah, it takes over 2 hours for it to download, which kills. Like if you were to get a refund on Steam, you wouldn't be able to do that. I'm guessing that's probably something that they'll fix or something that they'll take.
That's something Steam could fix and increase the time for that. I mean, it was interesting, like when installing that patch, it's running the game, and it was using like 50% of my CPU and 50% of my GPU the whole time while I was installing. So
Wow.
I was
See,
like, that's
it's
really
mining
weird.
Bitcoin on the back end or something. So Old Man Fear says U.S. government would regulate real world flight sims due to actual terrorist threat level, which makes sense. So you can't like learn how to fly an F-16 on Microsoft Flight Simulator because then somebody can go steal an F-16.
And that's the direction I was going with it. Like what's going on here? But yeah. Anyway,
I mean, it was a lot of fun. It's super chill, and you can play with your friends. And you can even, if you look on the map, you can see where other players are flying, and you can start by them and fly with them. Talk to them.
Crash into them.
I need
I don't
to
think you
fly
can
back
crash
down to Argentina. So
Yeah, I mean, it's
We'll go
cool.
check
You
it
can
out
just
tonight.
fly somewhere and check it out. I mean, it's cooler than just looking at it on the map. I don't know. I think that's kind of the draw. It's like, yeah, I can look at this country on a map application, but
because I haven't been outside for 6 months.
I just want to fly there. Okay. I mean, I can only look at North Korea so
man.
many times on this.
It's true.
Nice.
You're gonna be put on a list after tonight.
I'm
All right,
already on a list.
You're already
I
on
should
the
tell
list.
you. So did I tell you about this last week?
No.
For what I do for
No.
work, I'm on. So the government watches me
Anti-terrorist list?
basically.
Yeah. You're on a watch list.
Well, I'm on watch list, but not because of anything bad, but because of my work and due to the nature of what I do and what I deal with. To use my computer, I have to agree to this. It says I have to agree to be monitored. One. It says number two, expect zero privacy. and number three, what else did it say? The third thing, it was really funny, but I was like, oh. They just added those things this year because like the other one was like, oh, agree to be monitored, but then the second one they just put the new one in was expect zero privacy on this computer that you.
I think you're
log
confusing
into.
the government with Apple, Devin. Did you sign to like an
Yeah.
Apple?
No,
waiver? Is that what you were doing?
No, it was the
An
government.
Nah.
It might have been Apple. I'm pretty sure.
I don't read Apple's agreements. I just click accept. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
already
okay.
Yeah,
screwed,
that's-
so
It was Apple.
accept. No, but it was just really funny because I was like, oh, okay. But then they added a few more things. I was paying more attention to it through the other slides that I have to go through and agree and read through. And I was like, huh, okay. So now I can't use wireless anymore. Okay. So I had to like rearrange my office because we only had wireless in our office because there was no point for it before. But now whenever I have to use that work computer, like that's why I don't bring it home anymore or anything because I don't want to connect it to my network anymore after I agreed to be monitored 100% of the time on that computer. So
There you go.
it was funny.
All right. I'm laughing, man. Like it was super funny. You know what I say to that, Devin?
After all.
What the crap?
After all. Don't put your blame on me.
Thanks, Mike, for that little piece of history
Please
that we got there.
Don't overdo
I
that
should
again.
I should see if I can call it back up again. Let's see.
Let's stop.
Bathroom. No, that's the bathroom clip. We just lost all 8 of our listeners by playing that clip. All right.
Yeah.
So Marvel Avengers, there have been.
You just lost
there's
me too.
Mike's gone. They did some data mining on Marvel's Avengers. This is something that's been going around. The beta's been out. It's been very mixed on what people think about Marvel's Avengers. I have not been mixed. I continue to hold my stance that I'll probably just not
Avengers
play that game. But there's
cosplay.
been
Digital
Avengers
Foundry.
cosplay. That's rude, Devin.
That was Digital
All right,
Foundry. It was hilarious. The Avengers cosplay. That's hilarious. Come on.
All right, 15 unannounced characters have reportedly been data mined from the beta. All right, so Mike, we're gonna name all the Avengers. Michael, name all the Avengers. If you are going to include,
are you ready?
Ready.
Oh, sure, go for it.
Iron Man, Captain America, Thor,
Captain Hook,
Black Widow,
Captain
Hawkeye, Hulk.
Shut up, Devin.
Right. So those are the first Avengers, right?
Well, those aren't the first Avengers, but those are.
Or do you want me to name all the MCU characters?
No, okay, I'm gonna tell you who they've added in here, right? All right. So they've data mined that Ant-Man will be in the game, the Wasp will be in the game, Vision will be in the game, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Marvel, Mockingbird, Quake, Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, and War Machine will all be added into Marvel's Avengers sometime in the future. We know that Hawkeye will be the first person added. We know that Spider-Man will be added if you have a PlayStation. And yeah, so The current theory is that a lot of these are just going to be reskins of current characters. They're not going to be like completely new characters with brand new movesets. They'll just kind of be like, hey, Captain Marvel is probably going to play very similar to Iron Man because she can fly around and shoot stuff from her hands. Black Panther is probably going to play very similar to Black Widow because they both have black in their name, and that makes sense. Falcon will probably be, so
but you keep going down there, but like Ant-Man has to have his own because his abilities are unique, right?
So Ant-Man will
Even
probably be like Ant-Man will probably be like Kamala Khan because she can embiggen and he'll be able to embiggen also. So he'll probably have similar abilities to her. Falcon will probably have. So this is the rumor, right? This has all been data mined, and these are the things that are going to be coming to the game. So if that changes people's mind of whether you want to buy the game or whether you don't want to buy the game, just have that information out there. I think it's interesting that they had Quake in here. Quake has notoriously been absent from the MCU, from the films anyway. She's been over in the Shield TV series, which just recently wrapped up. Actually, I fell off of Agents of Shield like around season 4 because I thought it took some weird turns. But yeah, she's going to be in the game. So I guess if you are into Marvel's Avengers, congratulations, you will have lots of content to play through over
Lots
and
of
over
cosplay
again
content to play over.
You'll be able to punch those robots many different ways. So we know where Devon stands on that.
All the ways.
Always? That's like you
all
always
the
stand
ways.
there? I mean, are you like even the least bit interested or no?
No, not really. I mean, I don't know.
Are you a fake gamer?
Probably.
All right. Speaking of fake gamers, so Deathloop has been delayed to Q2 of 2021. This was the game that was shown off during the PlayStation event, where you have a goal to survive while the world is trying to kill you. If you die, you just come back. There's also, it was unclear if it's another actual player that can join in and try to kill you also, or if it was controlled by an NPC, or if there's options for both of those things to happen. So it is being delayed till 2021. Lots of games being delayed. There's been like, for some reason today, like everyone was trying to get people to believe that Cyberpunk had been delayed again because there was like weird rumors going around that Cyberpunk was going to get delayed. Like if it did, I wouldn't be like too surprised. But for some reason, like that was a big thing today where everyone was trying to convince everyone that Cyberpunk is getting delayed. So not sure about that. Devon, do you want to go through like the Nintendo showcase, or do you want me to go through the Nintendo showcase? Because I know how much you love Nintendo.
No, I mean, we can go through that. It's totally fine. So we have a bunch of indie games that Nintendo showed off because they don't have any of their own games unless they're remakes.
Wow.
To me, I mean, I'm just being honest. That's what we have for the rest of the year for Nintendo. I'm just putting the facts out there for Phaedron. So the first thing they showed off was Spiritfarer, which you can also get on Xbox Game Pass. Free.
Whoa, back up. Not the first thing they showed off. First thing they showed off was Hades. All right.
The first, oh yeah, it's not bold. See, that's your fault. You put it in there, you didn't bold it. So,
Wade says salty. Devon is salty. I will talk about Hades because I'm a super giant fanboy, and I just want to talk about Hades. So Hades coming to the Switch is something that we talked with Greg about when Greg was on our show, which is still like unbelievable that Greg came on our show. Like we actually had like, it's Greg Kasavin on our show, right? So he came out when we were asking him about coming to Switch. He's like, yeah, we don't know. We'll try to make it to come to Switch. So it's coming to Switch. They showed it off.
He knew it then. He just wasn't going to tell us.
Oh, of course he did. You know what he should have told us is that they had a new animated trailer on top of their announcement. And that animated trailer was amazing. Like it had some of the coolest animation that I've seen in a long time. Why? Because they had a super talented team that has worked on a ton of stuff that we've all seen before. I think the director was the same animation director for the Castlevania series on Netflix. They have a bunch of people that worked on Legend of Korra, like super talented team that came out and like made this trailer. And I was like, oh, that's how you do a reveal. You do an awesome animated trailer. It gave me a lot of Naruto vibes, Devon. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of the fights,
what?
There was like some influence.
Oh, so I should check this out then.
You haven't checked it out, man. You should check this out. I think you will be like, this is pretty awesome.
Now that you're talking Naruto, but
this might actually make me buy a Switch. Like to be honest, and not only because I'm like a fanboy and I'll just buy it anyway, but because it finally will bring cross save to Hades. So you'll be able to cross save between the PC and Nintendo Switch. So if you want to play on the PC, you can do that there. If you want to pick up your Switch and take it somewhere else, like if you're on the road or whatever, boom, cross it over, play it on the Switch. And I think that's a perfect place where you can play Hades if you're not playing it on PC. You could get it on the Nintendo Switch. And you could probably just go watch that trailer over and over again and be amazed at the animation skills of that team.
I'll have to watch that trailer.
It's really good. Now, for the rest of the stuff, Devon, I just kind of listed everything that they had. If you want to talk about each one individually, that's fine. Or if you just want to skip to the ones that are like interest you, then we can do that too. Because there's only like one or two that I was actually super interested in.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, besides Spiritfarer and Subnautica, I haven't really heard of the others very much. This is the Ancient Epic. Is that the one in India? Yeah, it's Indian, inspired by Indian culture.
The Raji.
Yep. No, I mean, Spiritfarer looks really cool. I downloaded it. I haven't, I'm gonna play it once I'm done with Battletoads, and then, because I'm trying to also do.
That Spiritfarer came out today, right?
Yeah, it was available for download today.
Yesterday?
It was yesterday, so it was part of Game Pass for when it launched. So I downloaded it. It's on PC and Xbox, but it looked pretty cool when they showed it off last year. Is that when they first showed it off? I think.
Yeah, Spiritfarer's.
Because it was at E3 when they showed it off, but Manifold Garden, I don't know anything about that, but a puzzle game looks like. Yeah, I don't know. Subnautica, I played. Have you guys ever played any Subnautica before?
I have played Subnautica, yes.
I played just some, so I mean, it looks more like the same, just adding to it, kind of changing a few things, but it says below, it's Arctic themed, right? So it's, I don't know how much different that can be when you're in the water, but maybe different animals in the Arctic.
I'm actually really surprised that the Switch will be able to run Subnautica. Like, Subnautica had a lot of stuff going on it. Like, even on the PC version, I mean, it wasn't like super overtaxing, but I am surprised. I would be interested to see the comparisons between the Switch version and the PC version and what compromises they had to make to get it onto that platform. Yep. And also, the cool thing about Subnautica is, like, I was able to play it in VR. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, but to like shrink it down to that screen, like, I have no doubt that it'll probably work. Like, no big deal. But in my mind, it's like, I think there would need to be a little bit more real estate in order to get the full effect of Subnautica. But hey, I'm not a Switch owner, so who knows? People could love Subnautica. I'm sure there's a lot of people that love playing Witcher 3 on the Switch. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool games. It's good that there's more games coming out. They don't really have any first party new games, that are coming out. There's rumors of, a new Zelda game, but I mean, Nintendo keeps things pretty tight-lipped, and they make a lot of remakes and but I mean, we've talked about that time and again. We buy those, like, I would buy, honestly, if the Nintendo, Mario 64 came to the Switch, like a full remake of that game, I would buy it. A bunch of the Mario games, if they came to the Switch, I would buy another Nintendo system if it was just, a regular system that doesn't have the Switch, but a plastic box that just sits there, so I don't have to worry about it. They had better visuals.
So let me ask you a dumb question. Like, how much better visually, like graphically and horsepower, would it have to be for you to buy it? Like, if they took the portability out of the Switch and said, hey, here's a box set, I mean, would you buy that?
I mean, I probably, if it was better, I wouldn't buy it if it's the exact same, because I already have a Switch that just sits in docked mode, so I can play on the TV. So, if it was like double the power of the Switch at least, I would buy it, because there's no reason they can't make that, using even if they want to stick with NVIDIA, they can still do that. I don't know, somewhere, if it was somewhere in between, maybe even if it was like not even PS4 Pro levels, I would still buy it then, because they could do so much with Nintendo games for that. The real thing I just want is, better resolution, and better anti-aliasing, when you're playing at least 1080p. So
I think the one thing that we've always wanted is, I believe it was like the tech demo for the Wii, when Link was fighting that spider in that temple, and it looked amazing, and it was blowing everyone's minds, and you're like, oh, I can't believe it looks like this.
Yeah.
And then none of their games have ever looked like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, their games could
maybe
look so
Skyward
much
Sword
better,
got close,
right?
right? They could,
I mean, you can see the
but they don't
emulators
care.
on PC. I just don't want to go to the effort to do that on PC, where you can you can run it in 4K and great, visuals, everything else. But I just want them to make that so I can just buy the system that just does that. I mean, I enjoy
Yeah.
Nintendo games, but at the same time, it's like it kind of looks like crap. They don't run amazing, and it's only 1080p, and which would be fine, but if just give me better graphics.
Yeah.
So.
Wade in the chat says he's gonna rebuy Mass Effect when the remaster comes out.
It's fake. It's never coming out, Wade. No. Crushing the hopes and dreams. No, I mean it would be interesting to see what that looks like. If and when it comes out. I don't know. I mean, will the old games hold up? I just don't know.
Real quick before we get off the Nintendo thing, there is one game that I do want to talk about that was really interesting to me, and this game is called Card Shark. This is from the same developer that created the mobile game Reigns. So for this game, it is you get access to 2 cards, and you make decisions based on those cards. And it's very much like game development story when we talked about Fernando about his game, that you make decisions based on the options that you're given, and the decisions you make will make this. It'll make like in Reigns, you're king. So if you make a decision saying, hey, feed the peasants, your happiness will go up for the peasants, but then like the armies will go down. And it just kind of like, you have to make decisions based on that. So they were the developers for that game. They're making a game called Card Shark, and it's a new offering from Nereal, the developer behind Swipe to Rule hit Reigns. Okay, Swipe to Rule. I didn't know that that's what that was called. So Card Shark, as the latter is known, looks gorgeous and features quite the premise, offering up a game of real card tricks and manipulations as players attempt to fleece and cheat their way to the top of 18th century French society, and it's coming to Switch and PC. So from what we've seen, gameplay is you're playing poker. You have various ways that you can cheat, and if you get caught, you will get shot. And if you don't get caught, then you work yourself up to becoming king. It has a really cool art style. It looks different from a lot of the games that we played. I wonder if I know it says it's coming to Switch and PC. I wonder why they wouldn't like put this on mobile. Like everything that we've seen seems like it would lend itself to that, unless it's made on Unreal Engine and now they can't put anything on iOS.
I mean, they got till the 28th to get it out. All right, so
yeah. So Card Shark actually looks really interesting. I really like the art style, and hopefully that'll be something I'll get to play. So Wade says there was some info. Let's see, there was some legit info recently. Devon
but
says
Mass Effect.
art book?
Yeah, so I mean, you could like the art book stuff's been around for a while actually. For if you can see it on Amazon, it comes out next year. That kind of leads you to that direction. There's long, many pages on forums about all these things, whether it's going to happen, whether it won't happen. So I'm interested. I hope there's a lot of people out there that want to play it, and EA are always there to make the games for the players, right? Make the money.
Speaking of making the games for the players, this is a news story about Oculus requiring a Facebook sign-in that it came out recently.
Mm-hmm.
So the internet kind of blew up with, I can't believe you're going to make me sign into a Facebook page in order to access this stuff. Now, Oculus has been owned by Facebook for how many years now, Devon? Like 3 or 4 years
Yeah,
now?
it's
Maybe
at least 3 years.
It's been a long time. At least 3 years. So if people think that Facebook doesn't already have your information, like I have a bridge to sell you.
Yeah.
So they already have that info. Like it is going to be frustrating that eventually you will have to only log in that way, or you're going to lose access to some features.
Yep.
With your Oculus.
But that's not for 2 years, right? Unless you're a brand new user.
It's not for 2 years, and I really don't want people to be like, well, I'm not going to do that. I don't want them to have my info. They already have your info through Oculus. What it's doing is really like going to centralize where all their customer information
just unify it.
It's going to unify it. I'm not saying that this is good or bad. I'm just hope that people that are freaking out understand that they already have access to your information.
Mm-hmm.
So to be like outraged, like I get it. Like I deleted my Facebook account. Well, I have Facebook for one reason, and that's to talk to some of my brothers, and that's it.
It's certainly not to wish me a happy birthday. That's for
Again?
sure.
Did I miss it again this year?
We already had this discussion,
Oh, I thought
when
you
you
had
were like,
another
I
birthday
totally
that
forgot it
missed.
was your birthday, and I thought it was you that said happy birthday, but it turned out it was your wife and not you. So, that's
My
cool.
wife is
Whatever.
so good about remembering everyone's birthday. You know what I said on your birthday day, Devon? This is what I said.
Hey, ladies, how about we focus on getting out of here instead of slapping each other like a bunch of little kids?
That's what I said on your birthday, okay? So I'll say that again now. I like my random button, okay? So yeah, Oculus has your information. Like, whether you like that or not, like the thing that you can do is go delete your account and instead of using Oculus, go find somewhere else to play your VR stuff. And unfortunately, like that's not the best attitude to have either, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that are like, well, I really like my Oculus and I didn't choose for Oculus to be sold to Facebook.
Yep.
And that sucks. And that puts you in a really tough situation. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of situations like that we're going to be talking about. Same thing with Epic
Life's
and
just
iOS.
unfair.
That, well, no, it's not. But Devin, are you crying?
He was tearing up,
that's
man.
gonna happen. You have 2 years to do it, but like, sorry, Facebook already has all of our information and sold it all to North Korea, and you can't fly over North Korea in Flight Simulator because it's all blacked out and you'll get shot down. So, anyway. Devin, Baldur's
Yes.
Gate 3. Tell
Baldur's
me about
Gate
all the
3.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, man, early access. Mike, are you at all interested in this game? Do you even know about this game?
I do know about Baldur's Gate. I have never played Baldur's Gate, but I've heard its name before. I'm pretty sure I've seen Steven play it.
We have talked about it on this show before with you.
I'm sure we
Listening.
have, because there's 3, right? So Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I know Baldur's Gate. You're Baldur, and you're wandering around, and you
Did
gotta
you
pick
just call
this
Devin
gate.
bald?
No, he's saying the
Like,
character's
no,
Baldur.
that's
But
your
I am
character.
going
Like,
bald.
character's
There's
name
no
is
doubt
Baldur.
about it. I mean,
Like,
I have
why
a
would you
receding
go
hairline.
there?
It's
Yeah,
fine.
because
I don't
that's what I would
understand.
do, Steve. That's what I would do.
But
That's
no,
what
I
would
mean,
do.
it's pretty cool. It's supposed to come out this month, right? They delayed it a month for, COVID
Early
causes
access supposed to
problems,
come
right?
out.
It's early access. And they're expecting that early access to last probably about a year, right? And so when I think about that in terms of what you get in early access, it's like, okay, well, how much of this can you really do? So they'll let you go. They're using D&D 5e, right? So if you don't play D&D, you should. It's a lot of fun, right? But so they're gonna let you go get to level 4, right, in early access.
But Devin, only level 4?
Level 4 is quite a bit. I only just got to level 5 in the other D&D campaign that I've been
You guys
playing.
have been playing for a year. What is
We've been
wrong
playing
with
for
you?
over a year, and we're
you-
just got to level 5, right?
Oh my gosh.
So it's pretty cool because I like to screw with the DM now that I have this cool ability at level 5, and he really does not like it, which is my favorite. But anyways,
Tim says Baldur's Gate was awesome. Played it for years on PC.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and so you have it's about 20 hours of content. They said they give you kind of all these, the stats for the encounters. There's 80 combat encounters, 45,000 lines of voice dialogue in those 20 hours. That's a lot of dialogue in 20 hours, 45,000 lines. Holy crap!
I mean, you have to consider some of those are like, ugh.
Yeah. 596 interactable characters.
That's insane.
It's a lot of characters
to interact
right?
with.
146 spells and actions.
Interact, that's just something that you like, you can touch.
You can push them
interact
out of
with
the way, whatever.
Yeah,
So they have 4-player online LAN co-op, right? So that is pretty cool. But I don't know if they're going to update it that all. When they're expecting that to go for a full year. That doesn't. I mean, maybe you can start over multiple characters and try different paths. I don't know.
You have access. Yeah, you have access to Fight Pass for early access, so you'll be able to do that over and over again. And considering, when you and I play Divinity, and it's going to be very similar to Divinity, there's so much that we skipped in that game.
Oh yeah,
and so many things that we could have done differently. So there is a lot of replayability. I'm guessing the 20 hours is just to get but also, if you remember when they first announced that they were making Baldur's Gate 3, they said that the main campaign will only go to level 10. D&D 5e rules go up to level 20.
Yep.
So I'm guessing there's got to be DLC after this. So I think their main focus right now is just if we get the building blocks laid down, then they can do whatever they want. Because this is a team that has been doing this for a really long time. So they're fast at making the levels. They're fast at making the quests. They're just going to be able to load tons and tons of content into this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I'm excited to play. I don't know if I want to jump in on early access though.
Well,
Like,
I think it's fine if like to get early access because it's still buying you the full game, right? And you
That's
can
true.
play it. And the thing that I kind of like, oh, it's only 20 hours, but at the same time, like, oh, it's only 20 hours. We put in,
over
80
almost
hours, 90 hours at 4:30 in the morning. You know, day after day. I mean, this could, get me back up again for a couple weeks at 4:30 in the morning to play with Steven. And Mike is going to join us. He promised us, Pinky promised that he was going
You
to wake up
betcha,
at
I'm there.
4:30. He's not going to. He'll never show up. But
That's mean, man.
prove me wrong. Show up.
I will. It's on.
I
I'm
like
playing
it.
right now.
Michael, will you
I'm-
show up at
I'm
4:30
playing right
in the
now.
morning?
This thing is awesome.
Will you join us as we
Will
play
you
through some
commit?
Baldur's Gate?
4:30 in the morning. That's early.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something you got to get used to. But no, I mean, I'm
Oh,
excited to be able to
well,
at least
there you
play
go.
through that.
Just get used to it.
Go to bed earlier. I don't know what you want.
Just get used to it.
Embrace the suck. I don't know. What do you want?
That's
Embrace the
weird.
suck.
That's weird.
Yeah, we should not embrace the suck. That is not something that you want to go around saying that you're embracing. Wade
Life
says,
sucks. You got to
4:30
embrace it.
a.m., Y'all are cray cray.
But
Wade
no,
just
I,
called
I
you
think
cray-cray.
that's something, where we both want to play it. I think playing through that first set part of early access for 20 hours would be pretty fun, checking it out. And, and it comes out in
I agree.
September, so why not? I mean, there's nothing else coming out in September that, we really need to play, but I don't know.
There are a lot of other people will be playing Avengers, but yeah, maybe we'll just try.
Oh,
it.
that game! I
Even
thought
if
that
you
game
just-
comes out this month. Is it next month?
I'm pretty sure it's September.
Oh, I don't know.
The beta comes out this month, so all right. All right, let's go ahead and move on as I push this button so I can get all of our timestamps and be professional like this. Battletoads. All right, this
Battletoads.
is something I've been super critical on, and this is something that Devon has been super excited about. And it's been very mixed online also. So I pulled off 2 reviews from online. Oh, it looks like Devon added in some more here. So I pulled off like a high one and a low one just so that we can get a good swing of what people are saying about the game. Right, because we like to be fair, and I'm pretty sure that I'll just do this. So Game Informer's Joe Juba gave it a 5 out of 10. So Joe says, the kindest thing I can say about Battletoads is this. It works. The controls are fine. I encountered no major technical issues, and an optional invincibility feature allows you to easily clear sections that are giving you too much trouble. Simply being playable from beginning to end is a tragically low bar to clear, but it's the main thing Battletoads has going for it. Otherwise, this baffling experience digs through decades of gaming history to unearth the Battletoads name only to drag it through the mud. So they gave it a 5 out of 10. Pretty scathing review from IGN. Game Rants.
That was not
Dalton
IGN.
Cooper.
That's Game Informer.
Oh, from Game Informer, sorry.
Game Informer.
Game Rants, Dalton Cooper says they gave it a 90. They got a 90 out of 100. So the lack of online co-op in the new Battletoads is definitely the game's biggest flaw. So if fans can overlook that, they will find what is otherwise a great beat 'em up throwback with hilarious scenes, fun combat, and plenty of variety. And with it being on Xbox Game Pass, subscribers have no reasons not to check it out. Overall, this Battletoads comeback is a major success and is sure to leave a smile on players' faces, and so hopefully fans don't have to wait 26 years for the next entry in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Terrence Wiggins says Battletoads not only revives the long dormant beat 'em up franchise and makes it fun to play for everyone instead of an ultra hardcore masochists.
Instead of
And-
for only ultra hardcore masochists.
Right, what I say.
We
And
don't
if
know.
they made a TV show about these hilarious characters, I would watch it. Devon, give us the Freelancer Codex review of Battletoads.
Yeah, so I've played maybe an hour and a half, right? Because I was looking online. My kids were super excited to play it tomorrow. They've watched, all the footage they can of it. Even my daughter, who doesn't really play very many video games, was really excited to play it. But they put it out live early, at like 5 o'clock. And so my kids were eating dinner, and I was like, oh, check this out. And I went to it and turned it on. They're like, "What?" And I was like, "You gotta eat all your dinner real quick so you can play." And so they scarfed down all their food, and then all three of them were playing, just having a great time. And I was like, "What the crap? You gotta rotate when you die. I gotta get in here." But um, no, it was a lot of fun playing through. We got through the whole first area and moved into the second area, and then even after that, I went back through on my own because they wanted to keep playing, so I didn't have to keep switching out with them. Because so I started on my own character because there's no online co-op. That's the only drawback. Like they were talking about. Hopefully they can get that in there eventually, but. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's goofy. The writing is pretty funny, but it also you have to have it's a specific type of humor, so it's not going to be for everyone. Which I'm guessing, Joe Juba, it definitely was not for him. I don't know, but they have the first little area as a tutorial showing you how to do different things, and my kids are like, whatever, just smash the buttons. We're beating up stuff
Nice.
and having a good time. It was like, oh, my frog. They're like, my toad is a train. Oh, I have a chicken for a fist, and different things. They have weird things when you're charging up and doing different abilities, and so it can be super easy. Like my kids are just smashing buttons, going through, having a good time. Or you can actually try and do, 40, 50 hit combos on all the enemies that you're going through and killing and getting higher points. And they give you different difficulty grades, like most arcade games where they're like, oh, you got a A or a D or whatever, you know. I did like the second area, which was it starts you off early, on the bikes as you're going through. Like the second area starts you with those bikes, and you have to go through a whole bunch of stuff, and it's a lot of fun. There's collectibles to go back through the levels, so if you miss them, you can go back through, and you're like, oh, I got to try and collect that. And I'm just playing on the medium difficulty to start, like the middle one, just to go through it and check it out. And there's definitely, the controls are really tight. Everything works good, just like he said, what is it? It works. The controls are fine. I think they're super responsive. I've played on both PC and on console, so it works great so far, and I'm having a good time.
I'm excited that you and your children are having fun together playing this game. It's
Steven
really
does
cool
not
that
like
it's
the art
come.
style.
No, I don't, and nothing I've seen is going to change that. But the two things that can be true here are Devon can enjoy it, and I don't have to enjoy it, and that's okay
Indeed.
because you are enjoying it with your kids,
Yeah.
and it's come to Game Pass. So even if I did want to play it, I'm sure this is something that if I downloaded from my kids, they would enjoy it also. They don't have, so we make fun of people that have Bioware baggage. Like Wade's hanging out in the chat, and we say like, "Hey, Wade's got Bioware baggage, right?" Because he likes Bioware a lot. I probably have a lot of Battletoads baggage because Super Battletoads is something that I played a ton of, right?
Yeah.
So I have these glasses on that just don't allow me to see past how awesome that was because Wade says he can't help it, and that's fine. Like I'm super happy that you and your kids are having fun with it. Like that's awesome because that's what the games are supposed to do, right? And like it's just not appealing to me, and that's fine. Like doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it. So
You should
but I'm
download it
glad
for your
that,
kids. I'm sure they would enjoy it.
and I probably will. They have been playing a lot of Fall Guys. They've been really enjoying that on PC. But I think I will download Battletoads so that they can give it a go, just to kind of see like what their reaction to it is. Because I'm guessing they'll react similar to your kids. They'll just be like, "Wow, this is like." And granted, like Battletoads, Super Battletoads back in the day did not have as much going on screen as the new Battletoads do. But also, like the cartoons that these kids are watching, very similar, have way more going on screen than the cartoons we watched, back in our day. So they're probably their brains are like, hey, yeah, I get this. You're old, Dad. Like, go away while we enjoy this new thing and get off my, go mow the lawn or something, Dad. So I'll download it for them, and we'll just see how they go. But I won't play it unless they ask me to. Then I guess I'll play it. Just because no, I won't. Say whatever, kids. I'm gonna go play my
Salty
highbrow games
Steven.
over here. Yeah, why don't you guys go? You guys stick with your kiddie game. I'm gonna go play some real games. You fake gamers. So, very cool that you guys are doing that. Do you guys want to talk about Apple, or do you think like everyone's covered it enough that we really don't have to say anything about it?
I think everyone's covered it enough, and it's just escalating, and until like anything happens, who knows how long this is gonna actually take? I don't know to finalize it for sure. But yeah, I don't know if we need.
Now, the only thing that I'll say is that I don't think Epic anticipated Apple being like, well, we're going to kick all Unreal Engine games off of our store because they're,
Well, they're not kicking all
not going
Unreal
to be in
Engine games off.
compliance.
They're just removing Epic's licenses to be able to use their stuff.
So this is what will happen, right? So if Epic cannot update their engine
Mm-hmm.
with Apple, the way that they force updates all the time, eventually all those games that are made on Unreal Engine will stop working.
Yeah, within a couple of years.
Because they can't push update. It might even be faster than that. Like there is an article over on Washington Post. It's not the best written article, but it talks a lot about this. It talks a lot about, what is actually going to happen here. And like I guess for me, as a consumer, as someone that believes that, hey, if you make a thing, you're responsible for that thing. We always say on our show, like, hey, like you can't come into our space and like kick the door down, like take a crap on our bed and just leave without us doing something, right? Very similar to Apple. Like you have to play by their rules. However, I also do believe that Epic is fighting for something that should be fought for. Because it is very monopolistic. And this is like on a lot of the platforms. Like it is a monopoly. If I build something and have to put it on your thing and you say, well, you have to pay this, you have to charge this, and you can't bring anything
Well, I mean,
else
you
in.
don't have to put it on. They don't have to put it on iOS. They choose to put it there. Because
that's true.
I mean,
but also, like, where else do you put it? And that's like the definition of the monopoly, right? Like,
well, they have the Google
store. You could build your own
Android.
store.
They could build their own store.
You could build your own store. You could do that. Those are all things that you could do. However, in our world where the percentage of people that own iPhones that are in that ecosystem is pretty close to 50% of people that own phones, and some Samsung owns a very large portion of that also, like both of those stores are very close to being considered monopolies in those spaces, right? I mean, I don't know if that's something that we can be like, hey, we can argue that. I mean, we could, but then we're splitting hairs at that point.
Well, because I think there are some very strict rules and laws that actually what constitutes a monopoly, right? Which is why these stores haven't been taken down sooner, right? So like even though most of our business goes through there, like it's not technically considered a monopoly. Because you could say that Samsung or that Android and iOS have a monopoly on phone operating systems, right? So but in order for it to be a monopoly, there's more things that have to be put in place. So I understand what you're saying, and I understand that. I mean, it doesn't seem fair, and it might not be fair, but I guess if Epic wanted to do something about it, they could go and build their own store or become compliant. I mean,
I think what eventually will happen is that Epic will ask for an exemption on their stuff, just like Netflix or Amazon have an exemption, because Amazon does not pay Apple every time someone buys something through their Amazon app. So
right.
I think what is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, like, is maybe the way that they're going about this.
Yeah.
Like there probably could have been a different way that they went about it.
With their propaganda for their children to watch and
but also, like, unfortunately, like, them like mobilizing their base in order to have something happen. Maybe they felt like, hey, this is really the only way that we'll get people talking about it, because granted, everyone's talking about it. And if they just filled out legal papers and like sent it in, like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that they could have done differently, but eventually I think they'll probably just ask for an exemption, and we'll see how it goes. Like, I'm interested to see, like, this is the most interesting legal court, thing that's happened in the gaming space for a really, really long time. I think the only other thing that we've had legally is the dude that gets all the Donkey Kong records is suing someone because they told him it wasn't legit. So it'll be interesting to see what is happening here.
I mean, it'll be interesting. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't know. I mean, they definitely didn't do it the right way, because when you have a video ready to put into your video game for everyone to see, you already know it was planned ahead. They knew it was going to happen when they broke the terms of service. They just, I'm guessing, weren't expecting that Apple would be like, you break our terms of service, we can revoke all of your licenses. It's got to be in their paperwork, and so
Maybe they didn't read the
they thought they were
EULA.
maybe a little bit too big in their britches or something. I don't know. Apple just
Granted,
crossed $2 trillion worth, for their company. Epic's worth 17.3 billion, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the one thing that I just don't like about the whole Apple thing is like, oh, we have to make sure only good content gets put onto our store. It's
Which,
like,
that's not
get
100%
off.
true because there's crap content that gets on there all the time, right? But
And that's all I'm saying. Like, if I were to like talk to an Apple lawyer, I'd say something like,
Yeah, right. This is boring. Time for boss to get some sleep. You'll be the one surprised tomorrow, outcast. Not me.
Oh, are you gonna shut your mouth? Because that would be a surprise.
that's what I would say. To
that's what
Apple.
the lawyer would say to you. You can shut your mouth. That would be a surprise.
Hey, all right. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, that's going to be revealed soon. They had this trailer that looked like it was like the beginning of a movie that probably starred Harrison Ford at one point and probably had Tommy
It looked
Lee
pretty
Jones
hot.
as a submarine captain.
I was like,
I mean, it's like, yeah, it was a good movie trailer. And I mean, they make good trailers, and I'm sure that'll be something interesting because, hey, Call of Duty's a thing, and Call of Duty will always be a thing. And
well, I
every
mean,
year
they
we'll
made
have a new
1
Call of
point
Duty.
something billion in the first quarter of this year off of microtransactions.
You just love people that make money, Devin. Is that what this is? You just like people that make billions of dollars?
Yeah, because I want to make billions of dollars. So
Well, you can't if they're making the billions of dollars, you're not going to be making billions
I
of
know.
dollars. So it's like you got to stick it to the man. Like rise up.
I mean, yeah, if
Neil
it's fun,
says-
it's fun, right? I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
They
Neil
did.
says,
Oh, you
"People
were
still
talking
play
about
Call of Duty."
who said that?
Mule just said, "People still play Call of Duty?" ? So he put the Kappa face. So I don't know if Mule's being facetious here or not.
No, I mean they
but-
definitely had a cheating problem for a while, for sure. I mean that's going to happen anytime you have games on PC because that's just the nature of the beast, and eventually also on consoles. But yeah, I mean it's definitely interesting. I think their trailer they showed off the teaser today was really for story. Which I'm more interested in is the story because it looks pretty interesting. For the first time in I don't know forever for a Call of Duty game, like the story looks interesting. So
What do you mean it looks interesting though? They didn't show anything.
I know just the premise, like what they're trying to allude to by that trailer.
Did
It
you
looks
just get Anthem by the trailer?
yeah, it could have. You never know, right? I mean, you never know. They could pull a 2020 on us. I don't know.
Well, 2020. I think it was 2019.
Yeah,
But
it could be.
either way, I think it'll be. I don't know. It's Call of Duty, so it'll be what it is. And I wonder what do you think they will do with their BR?
So, what Kags was putting on the Discord and stuff today was pretty interesting. There's people that have found a missile silo on the Warzone map, and they're thinking that in order for it to change, that it's actually going to get hit by a nuclear weapon, a la Cold War, to really change the Battle Royale map for the new game. So honestly, what I'm hoping
will it
for,
be in the same launcher? Do you think, or do you think it'll be in like the new?
I'm guessing
how
it'll
will
be
they
in
handle
both.
that?
I really want the Warzone to be in its own launcher, right? To not be together. Like right now, like the game really pisses me off because of how big their updates are. That's the only gripe I have with the game is the updates. They had an update just the other day that was 66 gigs on the Xbox because they said something the Xbox did, they screwed something up. And so it was 66 gigs on the Xbox. It was 800 megs on PC and 1 point something gigabytes on PlayStation 4. Right, but their normal downloads have been 50 plus gigs every time. The full game right now is 183 gigabytes on my Xbox, which is absolutely ridiculous for a single game.
Gigabytes.
And even if you just want Warzone, it's almost 100 gigs just for Warzone.
Just say Flight Simulator was like 126, 127
Like
gigs.
138, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it only showed 93. I don't know.
No, that was no.
That was
it's
day
more
one
than that.
patch.
That was PC, right? I don't care about PC. I have terabytes and terabytes of storage on my PC. For my Xbox, that is a different thing, right? But it's still just it's ridiculous. But so hopefully the next game doesn't have that same problem, and they can kind of switch that. So
Cool. Mike, Devin, you want to talk about dashboards, but I want to ask Mike a question. Mike,
Okay.
Yes, Steve.
name all the dashboards.
Name all the dashboards.
You don't have to name all the dashboards. So the Xbox is getting a dashboard update. And the interesting thing about this one that everyone's freaking out about is that it's going to be uniform across everything. PC, Xbox One, Series X, Series S, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be the same. This was like a big news story. Do you, Michael, have you ever given a second thought to the menus on your Xbox One?
I have. Yes, I have. I have.
What was your second thought?
So I have changed them around and altered them and have prioritized things, if that's what you mean. But that, I mean, I assume everyone has done that.
I just think of my only thought of the Xbox menus is that these menus are too damn slow. That's the only thought I've ever had on the Xbox.
I also have another thought that like the narrator activates too quick. And whatever button sequence, like my kids know it too easy. And like when the narrator is like Xbox on home page, blah blah, like that bugs me.
So Devin, are you excited about the new updates? I mean,
They
look cleaner, I guess.
It definitely looks cleaner. I like that it's unified, because that was a big problem for people. For some people to go from PC to Xbox and have different user interface, and so now that it's unified, it's also faster. So faster. That's one of the things that has always been a problem, is a slower dashboard. And so when you're trying to go to different places, I definitely
it's very slow.
Yeah, I definitely want a faster dashboard, and with the Series X, it's going to be even better with the solid state drive. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't mind the way it looks right now on PC. My biggest problem right now on the PC is that I am in the insider build, and so my stuff is unreliable a lot because I'm
all the time.
I'm doing that. Like there's an update almost every single day for the insider build of the Windows of the Xbox app. It's in a beta, and there's an update almost every single day.
Stuff.
Yeah, it does. And so that's kind of frustrating when you're trying to do streaming things or communicate and different things. You're like, oh, should I not do this? Should I just go back to here? But I enjoy doing that kind of stuff, and so I just kind of deal with it because I have a lot of fun getting early builds to things, and that's just one of the things I deal with. But I like the fact that it's unified and it's going to be faster. That's the main thing that I'm excited for. So.
Unification is awesome. You wanted to talk about chips, or do you wanted to say chip talk for later?
No, if people want to look into the deep dive, right? They did, and on hot chips, the Xbox put out a ton of information about their system on chip for the Xbox Series X, and hopefully Sony will put out information eventually on their chip, and we'll get to see everything about it. You still know everything about the chip, but it's just fun to kind of do a deep dive on stuff, even when you don't fully understand it. I've been kind of following chips for a couple years now, and it's just kind of fun for people, going off on this stuff. And it's like, that's pretty cool. I don't even know how they make that stuff that small. It's pretty crazy, but it's fun to read through and check out. So
it's all robots. Well, right on. So everyone, that has been it for the news. So we'll have this random clip take us out for the news.
Sorry, but the answer is a whopping yes.
So, all right. So with that answer, Devin, I know you had a game that you want us to play today. Do you want to still do that? It's like we've been talking for an hour and 30 minutes. We can do that. We can save it for next time. Your call.
It doesn't matter to me. I think this is something. It's just a funny little thing to do that I think we could do every show. It's like 2 minutes. I don't know what you want to do.
It's up to you, man. Like this is you. Like I said, hey, bring topics. You brought the topic, so let's do the topic. Wade says Xbox Series X is going to be amazing.
Indeed, it will.
I say, if only we had games to play on it.
There's lots of games. There's thousands of games, Steven. All right.
Name all the games.
I can't. There's so many. No, that's we could get into that too.
No, we don't have to get into it. That's
no.
Okay. Yeah. There's nothing to get into. Like, there's not a big launch title, but hey, if you want to play 4 generations worth of thousands of games, you can do that on a higher system.
Yeah, or any of the new games coming out this fall if you want to play them on the most powerful system and have the best resolution, frame rate, graphics.
Then I'll just do that on my
Ah,
PC.
new Nintendo's coming out. That's cool.
I wish, but no. No. So one of the things, so I thought about this. We were trying to think of new things to do, and I think this would be kind of funny because they were making fun of my art a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we were.
So I thought of a new segment that I'm kind of calling art drawn badly. Right. So this is something you guys can listening can do as well. Because we're gonna post these things. So basically, all I did was just get a piece of printer paper, folded it, so it's into 4. So you have a smaller picture here. So we need 3 things, and chat. We can get some help from chat, hopefully. I need Michael. Why don't you pick an item?
Name
Pick
all
an
the
item. Just random item.
Just any item. I mean,
Me, Michael, or chat, Michael.
You, Michael, on the show, Michael.
Pick an item, random item. I'm gonna go with DMR.
A DMR?
A gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All
Wade
right.
says
That's
he
random.
does not want to help Devon. Wade, Devon is not Wade's favorite person right now.
I see how you are,
Right.
Wade. That's fine. You don't want to draw? That's cool. So now from chat, I want you to pick an action, right? So pick an action for us. So what we're gonna do basically, we're gonna pick these with these 3 things. We're gonna have to draw this in 2 minutes. And so Steven, you have to pick the place.
Antarctica.
Okay, so we have to draw a DMR in Antarctica. And as soon as chat can give us an action to tell us what the DMR is doing, then we can draw that.
Wait, I'm gonna change DMR because that's weird.
Okay.
Lamp.
A lamp. So he's going
lamp.
Pixar. Okay.
Yeah, because that's not weird either.
I wasn't prepared.
So you
for
just
this.
need a
I
piece
need,
of
like,
paper, a pen or pencil.
Oh, let me go get one.
Okay.
Wade says teabagging.
Teabagging. So crouching. All right. So a lamp is crouching.
Rapid crouching.
Rapid crouching in Antarctica. So we're gonna wait for Mike to get back.
I've already started.
Hey, you gotta wait for the timer. It's a 2-minute thing.
Oh, sorry. All right, I'll wait.
All right. So, Mike, you got a paper and a pencil?
I do. So we are drawing a lamp in Antarctica doing what?
Crouching.
Rapid crouching.
Rapid
Repeated crouching.
Rapid crouching.
When do we start?
Hold on, let
We
me
have
get.
to wait for Devon to tell us to start.
Okay.
Crouching, huh?
Yep.
Uh-huh. And that's the thing that we're gonna do. So
Yeah.
we have to monologue while we're doing it.
So
also,
we're
because,
just
you
gonna
know,
talk while we're
it's
doing
an
this,
audio show.
and we're gonna put these up on Twitter for everyone to see, and so that's how it's gonna be. And for people to participate if they want, they can send that in as well. All right, you guys ready? I'm gonna go ahead and click start.
Yes.
So we got 2 minutes. So we're in Antarctica. It is a cold place. Do you think there's a lot of ice there?
No.
No, I think it's cold
Penguins
without
there.
ice.
Yeah. Do you think
So-
it's cold there?
It might be. What kind of lamp are you drawing, Mike?
Don't distract me, Devon.
This is an LED lamp.
Oh, an LED lamp.
Yeah.
You know, like you do, the old LED lamp.
The LED lamp, and it's crouching in
How much time do we
Antarctica.
have left?
We still have a minute and a half left. So,
Oh, I'm already done. What do
how
I
could
add?
you already
Do
be
I-
done? You have to draw
do I
many
need
actions.
to render this out?
Yeah, you need to render it out. Get some animations in there. Ooh, a lava lamp. I like that.
What do you mean animations? Like
So-
let's see. So who are we gonna have like chat vote on who wins or
I don't think they need to. I won. I mean, obviously.
I don't think you've ever drawn anything in your life. Now that I think about it, like, have you ever drawn?
Yeah.
When?
I was passed up for valedictorian in my art class.
Valedictorian in your art class. What the crap? What
I'm
do we
trying
got
to, like,
going on
bring up
here?
bad memories. Like, yes, I could have been valedictorian.
Just
but my
call me
art
Hyper.
teacher
Thanks
gave
for
me
the
a
follow.
B in art. What? We got a follow off of this?
Yeah, we got to follow. We appreciate you guys.
Just Hyper, I will answer you here in just a minute after we draw this, because I will address your question. We will not leave you hanging here.
Yeah.
So lamps, huh?
Lamps.
Why does my lamp look like an iron?
I don't know why it looks that way.
Mike, you never answered me. Like, if you've ever drawn anything in your life?
I actually have. I've
When?
dabbled in drawing before. So I had a ruler one time.
All
and,
right,
like,
time
straight
is
lines
up.
was all I could do. I took a drafting class actually. Is that considered drawing?
Drafting, yeah, you can
Yes,
draft,
it is.
right? So
I was
just
pretty
call me
good in
Hyper.
that
Hey,
class.
what is our view
All right,
on
Devin.
depression? All right, so we will answer that here in just a minute. So our thing was to draw a lamp crouching in Antarctica, and so this is.
No, it was a lamp teabagging in Antarctica.
So I put a couple lamps in there. There's a lamp right here teabagging or crouching on a lava lamp. Since Wade brought up the lava lamp, and you know this is kind of
not
Antarctica.
crouching.
Yeah, so you can see his bent neck. So that is my drawing.
Drew a lamp next to some penguins.
I love it.
I like the action hands there. He's got jazz hands for the lamp.
That's the light. That's simulating the
sun.
light.
And we've got the sun out there, the lamp in the sun. So very well. Mine is a actual lamp. Here, let's see. Mine is a lamp that is actually using a tea bag in its coffee mug.
Where's Antarctica?
We were talking about.
You're supposed to be in Antarctica.
Well, they have coffee because it's cold there and it's going to be warm, and that's the branded Freelancer Codex cup. So
Wade
that's
says
my,
I fail because there's no legs on my lamp. Look, all right, I have a lamp right here. There are no legs on this lamp that I have right here.
Well, there goes all of our viewers, but that's okay.
What are you talking about? They're all still here. They all had a great time. All right, so
Did they say who won?
I don't know. They can decide who won, and we will post this on Twitter, and we can ask them which one's better. Right?
Agreed. Maybe that tweet will get lost. So just call me Hyper says, "Hello, gentlemen. I have a question. What's your view on depression? Just wondering." So that is an interesting question. I don't know exactly, Hyper, what our views on it are. My views on it is that it's a real thing, that a lot of people suffer from it, and it's something that a lot of people fail to get proper help on. But it is something that can be diagnosed, and it's something that people. The problem is that a lot of people don't know how to get help, and a lot of people, when you talk to someone, you're like, "Hey, I'm feeling kind of depressed," and they're like, "Oh, well, just be happy." It's like, well, okay.
Okay.
I guess I'm not depressed anymore because now I'll just be happy. But Mike is actually has taken a lot of studying about psychology and stuff, and I don't know, Mike, what are your thoughts? Because it's a thing. What's the best way? Let me ask you this: what's the best way for someone who is feeling depressed to get help?
I think the first thing.
Disclaimer that none of us are professionals.
Yeah.
I think the first thing, if we are talking about actual depression and not like some video game that we haven't heard of yet, is there
no actual depression
game called depression? Okay. So I think the first thing to do is to understand that you have a problem, and and if you want help, then to go out and seek help, and then also be accepting of the help that you get, right? Because there are times where people are depressed and maybe don't realize it. People who think that they've got it all together, because that's the nature of the I don't want to call it disease, but that's the nature of the condition itself. Is sometimes you don't necessarily know that you're depressed. So definitely, if you are depressed, if you can see the signs in yourself, then seek help if you want to recover from it. And then take the advice and the help of the professionals that offer it to you. If they offer meds, take the meds and stay up on the meds and see if they work. If you do a more holistic approach where it's more, changing behaviors or changing some of the things that you do, some of the content that you consume, some of the media that you are a part of, then take that into effect too. Don't let your depression become Um, don't let it become something that can drag you down, because it can. You can live with depression, and which seems kind of strange to say, but you can live with it and still be a functioning person and get everything done that you need to. But understand that sometimes you need to take time for yourself, and sometimes you just need to work through it. Sometimes there's a process that we go through where you just kind of have to work through that depression. Maybe you're carrying something that you can put down. Maybe you're carrying something that you need to work through. There's all kinds of things that you can do. The best advice, I think, is to seek help and take it when you get it. So
And Hyper says, sorry to bring the mood down, just trying to find a way to lighten myself. And you don't need to be sorry at all. I
No,
mean, we are
yeah.
more than willing to help and answer any questions. And I think, I mean, it's something that happens to all of us, I think, in varying degrees. Like, I mean, there have been times where I have just been like, I like, and again, since I'm not a professional, it's hard to say like, wow, you were like seriously depressed, but you just feel off, right? You don't feel yourself. You don't feel like I've felt where it's like, well, I can't do anything right. Like, what am I doing with myself? Like, should I mean, you just, it's hard to describe how you feel, but I think it's something that all of us go through. And it's hard to figure out how to, like, for me, like someone that doesn't ask for help anyway from anybody, like, have just dealt with it myself. Sometimes I'll like call somebody and talk to them, but other than that, it's like I guess I'll figure it out because I don't want to burden other people with my issues, right? So that's something that isn't great that I do, is because I just don't ask for help ever. I
Yeah.
don't seek it out. And that's something that I need to change, but I also don't know how to change that, because like the way that we were raised, it's deal with your stuff, help other people, like don't be a burden on people, right? So that's hard for me to deal with. Like when I need help, it's hard for me to ask for it.
well, and I think it's also hard. It's hard to think that other people might know what we're feeling, and it's hard to put ourselves in a boat that other people might be in, right? Because we kind of want our problems to be our own. I have to sneeze.
Bless you.
I
So
apologize.
while you're
So
sneezing,
no, I'm
no,
back.
go ahead.
So it's hard to think that other people can feel the same way that we do, because a lot of times we want to think that no one else has experienced this exact set of circumstances that I have experienced. But the truth is, and the reality is that there are many people who have experienced that exact same thing. So you don't have to lump yourself by yourself in your own boat in the middle of an ocean, where there's no one else to throw you a raft. There are people who are going through the exact same stuff, who have gone through the exact same stuff and have come out on the other end better for it. Not the same, mind you, because there's a change that needs to take place.
Mhm.
And I think it's a change that needs to take place in all of us, regardless of how we feel. There's some growth that we as humans need to make. And some of us are given different tools to handle that and different obstacles that we need to overcome. So don't be afraid to change, and don't be afraid to adapt to new situations, because if you're trying to get back to where you started, that's not healthy either. If you're going through one of these bouts of mental anguish, of depression, of addiction, of these feelings of just down on yourself, you don't want to get back to the part where you were, to the point where you were before that. You want to get past it and grow from it. You want to be able to move on, and that's hard to do. And it's hard for me to sit here and say that, but I've had my own struggles just like everybody, and I think I've come out better on the other side. And so one of the best ways is to lose yourself in helping others. That is a great cure. So if you can recognize those signs in yourself, maybe you can also recognize those signs in someone who can't recognize them in itself. You can go through that together. That's a viable option for sure.
Yeah, Tim in the chat says, sorry, I keep saying Tim, but it's Old Man Fear. Tim has been someone that we've known for a really long time and have played games with for since 2010. Devon even longer. So Tim says, as a PTSD sufferer, first you have to acknowledge there's a problem and then seek professional help. Most, if not all, schools, workplaces, and government agencies or facilities have programs for assistance. Hyper, please don't ignore the problem. Please seek help. Um, so Tim is wise in his old age. He is old man feared because he's old. But Tim has been around the block and knows a thing or two. One of the things that I do personally, though, like now that like Mike and you guys have been talking about it, is I kind of have like a go when I am feeling down and depressed. I kind of have a go-to book that I listen to, because it taught like one of the main characters in this book has depression. It's the Stormlight Archives, and I know I talk about this book series a lot, but I think because it speaks to me and on a lot of different levels. And one of the things it talks about in that book is, it's the journey over destination, that sometimes we look for, like, well, how do I just get over this now? But like Mike said, it's slow. Sometimes it's a process, and you just have to be willing to go through the journey in order to get to the destination. And it's one step at a time. Like there's definitely no like quick fix for any of this stuff, and especially because we don't know how everyone reacts to it, or we don't know why, some people haven't, some people don't. But try to find something that is kind of like your comfort food, right? Something that can bring you a little bit of joy and a little bit of happiness to bring yourself out of it. Devin, I don't know, what do you think? You've been quiet.
No, I mean, just been listening, and yeah, I mean, I think for sure one of the best things you could do is to talk about it, and don't just bottle it up inside and keep it in there. Like Mike said, we're kind of from a generation where it's, keep that stuff inside and deal with it in your own mind. You don't talk about that. Not that my parents have ever said, hey, don't do that, or that they haven't been open to talk about it. It's just, you know not something that I was like, oh, let's talk about our feelings all the time, type of thing. And it can definitely be scary to talk about your feelings and how you're feeling, and even to admit that you're having those emotions, or that you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be the happy person all the time. I can't be depressed, But it's like everybody has issues they have to deal with, and that can be, from work, could be from school, could be from your friends and the environment that you're in. It can be from anything really. And but like Tim says, you have to admit that you have a problem, and it's kind of hard to see that for a while sometimes, and that can kind of come with time and experience. You know, I think one of the things for me with work is there's a lot of young guys that I work with that haven't quite been through a lot of life experiences yet. Some of them still live at home with their parents, and they're still just like happy-go-lucky, really goofy, and but you can definitely also see when they're having issues, and hopefully somebody in your life, if whether that's at work or somewhere else, can see, and if they do give you that opportunity and say, hey man, are you doing all right? You don't seem like yourself today. Don't just brush them off, and just be like, oh, I'm fine, I don't, need to talk about anything. Just know and understand that person is like recognizing that there's, you're not the same person you normally are. That you're acting a little different and something else, and so maybe that's also a sign as well that, okay, maybe this thing is getting out of control a little bit, that even other people are recognizing I'm having issues right now, you know um, but I think it's good to talk about it, is what I kind of go with, and whether that's to your close friends or different things. And even then, a lot of people, you could talk to them and be like, oh, you don't need to talk to somebody else, I think you're just fine. That can also be a problem. If you just talk to somebody and they say, oh, you're just fine, you don't have any issues, or different things. But if it's something that keeps happening in your life and you keep coming back to it, I would definitely, as Tim says, seek out someone who has been trained and deals with this on a day-to-day basis, and is a professional, you know. So that's
And I
all I
think
have.
you're right, Devin, that a lot of times when people ask us, hey, how's it going? Like, we're just trained to be like, no, it's fine.
Yeah,
Like, even if we're having like the worst day ever,
yeah.
right?
Everything's
We
great.
say, oh, everything's fine. So Nasilia says, current generation has different conditions / expectations. Before, people had more friends / family for support. Today, you need to approach, and I would recommend anyone to approach, attend hobby groups, make real friends to talk to and open, more so for people who have a hard time in life. And Katie says that whenever they feel depressed or down, they always draw, animate, or listen to music. And I think, like Tim said, like Nasili says, there are so many groups that you can go to just to chat. Like, if anyone ever wanted to chat with us on the Discord, like our Discord is a great place to just go in to like talk to people, whether it's about video games, whether it's how you feel about the current quarantine situation, whether like anything, you could just drop in and you could chat. Like any of us, if you wanted to like talk with us on Twitter, if you just private messaged us, like we are more than willing to just have a conversation about whatever is
Yeah.
going on. And that's something that, you know what, like we love video games because it brings us together and it makes, has we have fun conversations with people, but really it's like creating relationships with people that we never would have talked to before. And that's not always just, hey, what do you think about this video game? It's like, hey, like this happened at work today, or hey, my kids did this today. We try to celebrate the wins, like the highs with the lows. And that's really what our community is about, or what we want it to be about, right? We
Yeah.
want to be able to have these conversations after talking about video games for an hour and 30 minutes, and just be able to be like, hey, are you okay? Like, Hyper, do you need, if it helps for you to hear someone talk about it, then we are more than happy to talk about it. So Hyper says, I honestly think my problem is that I have that stigma following me that I have to be manly, don't show emotion, even though I know I am more sensitive than most guys, but my emotions don't show through because I don't really know how to express them. I just want to be comfortable with myself and my own body. Yeah, and that's something that's like, we were talking about baseball at the beginning of this show. Like that coach that's like, I can't show emotion to these kids. I can't encourage these kids. I have to yell at them because that's how I was yelled at when I was a kid, right? This is how I was coached. So this is how I'm going to coach these kids, by yelling at them and scaring them into catching the ball. And that's difficult. I mean, that's something that, it's tough to break that cycle, because like even Mike was talking about, it's like, well, someone has to say something to that guy, right? Or else you just perpetuate the stereotype of, hey, you can't show emotion, you can't hold that kid and be like, hey, good luck next time, like we'll try it next time.
Yeah.
And that's something that it's a tough cycle to break. But also, like, I think the generations are getting different, that it is definitely easier to, like, hey, if you're emotional, like you can have emotions, right? Like, I don't know how many videos we see people crying at the end of Avengers when when Falcon says on your left and all the portals started appearing. Like, I don't know how many manly tears Mike cried, but it's got to be like gallons of manly tears, like every time.
Yep.
Shut up.
Mike.
He's like, I'm tearing up right now thinking about it. But no, I mean,
I was
there's
like, just thinking
yeah,
about it, I'm tearing up.
It's rough to navigate this world. There's a lot of things that bring you down, but I also believe that uh, the myriad of things that bring you down, there's a myriad, if not more, things that can lift you up. And find the thing that lifts you up. Um, and find the person that lifts you up, and be in those positive, healthy relationships. And I feel safe and comfortable saying this here, but get with God and get yourself straight, and find out your worth to him, because it's high, it's super high. And there are people who listen. They're trained to listen, and there are people who are trained on these things and can help you through problems that you think that you're going through on your own. And you're not going through them on your own. There are people out there having the exact same insecurities and dealing with the same issues. um, and the help is out there. Don't be scared to go find it.
And I think you will be surprised at the reaction that you get when you open up to someone. I think it's very rare when you say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And I hope it is. Like, I shouldn't make blanket statements like that, because you never know. But I think you'll be surprised if you say, hey, find your close friend, whether it's a family member or someone that you work with, or even someone that, hey, you listen to their podcast and it's like, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you're like, hey, I feel the same way too. I mean, especially now, man, the quarantine has it sucked for everybody, and we're all just feeling like this malaise of like, when is the world going to get back to normal, right? And it's like the extra time of suckage, and this isn't the kind of suck that we want to embrace. It's like, man, this just sucks, and like a lot of us are in the same boat. So like,
Yep.
and sometimes it takes a little bit of courage to step out and just be like, hey man, this is how I feel. Like, I need to talk to someone about it. Will you listen? And if they don't listen, then you know what worth were they in your life in the first place? I guess if they're not willing to listen to you.
Yeah.
But
I think another good thing, really, like they talked about in the chat, was different hobbies and groups and getting out there. And if you find that you're having difficulties in life, and one of the things I think you can really do is open up to different opportunities, right? Try different things, even if it sounds really weird or dumb. It's like, oh, go to the park and do this, or you know, play Dungeons and Dragons, or learn how to basket weave, or do something else. Find these different little groups that are completely different than what you're doing in your life right now, because you never know where you're going to be able to find happiness from, right? You could try something that you might think is the dumbest thing ever, but then find out after you start doing it that you love that, and that brings you great happiness and can break you out of that funk and that depression that you've been experiencing because you've just been doing the same things over and over and over again. You never know what that new activity, or making new friends from getting out and just trying to do things. So
yep. Well, hopefully Hyper and everyone else, that this discussion has been, and again, like, we are not professionals. We only have our experiences to go by, and like the things that we have to navigate day in and day out. Um, and just to close, Katie says, there are a lot of things in life that are difficult, but you can get through it. Many people have, yes. It's not the same. We all have our differences, but that difference shows who you are. I had an incident last night that I still think about. I told my friend in my server that we spent all night talking and chatting, sharing each other's music, drawing, etc. And I do feel better. I feel like they helped me out of that fog, and suddenly it came out of nowhere. And then let's see. Mike says, that you're an absolute legend. It's like, oh, thanks, Mike. That's nice of you.
yeah.
You're absolute. Let's say, how do you do the Australian? You're absolute
Don't
legends.
don't
I don't
try.
even know.
Don't try it.
Try it.
Let me try it.
Don't try it,
try it.
Steven. We
Anakin.
have the high
Please,
ground.
please
Don't
don't
try
try.
it. No.
Please don't
Tim
try.
says, Hyper, it took me 20 years to figure out what caused my anger issues. Then we learned it was all Devon. Just kidding.
It's true.
I thankfully had the VA med system to assist. I found out that with the anger came fear and depression. I made my family suffer because I was taught to suck it up and press forward. It's not good to believe the stigma associated with manhood in today's society. If you need assistance or want me to follow up with some professional assistance, please seek assistance. Don't let it be years. Peace, man. Um, oh, Michael says, "You bloody legends." That's a good
Oh.
accent. Yeah, pretty good. So, but seriously, like, hopefully, just talking about it here, just listening to people talk about it. Michael says that's Scottish. Says, hopefully this helps. Like, just sometimes you just need a primer. Sometimes you just need to be like, okay, I think I can do this. And even if it is like Hyper, just like reach out to us on our Discord. It's all linked over here. Like, reach out to us on Twitter. We are so happy and willing to chat. Like, seriously, we can talk all the time. So like, do that, even if that helps, even if you're not comfortable yet talking to people in real life. Like, just reach out and talk to a bunch of strangers. And sometimes it's so much easier to talk to strangers. I mean, that's why people go to therapists, right? It's so much easier to open up to a therapist because they're like your little comfort zone, like, and not open up to family members or people in your circle. So, chat, thank you so much for hanging out. I think this has been a really important discussion,
Indeed.
more so than talking about video games. I enjoy getting everyone's opinions, hearing everyone's stories. Tim, thanks for being here. I think this was a great opportunity, and glad that you were able to make it out. Tim has been someone that has always brought a lot of joy to us when we play video games because of his outlook on life, and just because Tim's a funny guy and he's fun to hang out with. So, and when I play with Tim, I'm not usually at the bottom of the scoreboard. So
That's why you like it when Tim.
I'm just kidding, Tim. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. And if you need anything, please reach out to someone.
Yeah.
Reach out to us. Reach out into professional. And until next time, we'll leave you with a random clip because these are always fun.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's the same one. We can't have the same one.
That's great. I enjoy gaming, but in my free time, I also do photography.
Thank you for listening to the Freelancer Codex, a podcast brought to you by the Shut Up and Respawn Network. Follow us at Freelancer Codex on Twitter or Twitch. Send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com or voice messages to anchor.fm/freelancercodex/message. We wish to thank all of our Patreons. We are grateful for you all.